everyone, welcome to episode 12 of my women's basketball podcast, Anastasia Scouting Report. We got another good one this week, so I'm going to be talking about March Madness again, the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, giving a recap. Also, I'm going to give a preview for the Final Four and the championship game, who I think will win and why. If you're new here, two things. I have a visual version of this on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, there's a link for that, so you guys can check that out. And then on the visual version, I have all my statistics on the screen, because sometimes I just kind of like blow by the game, so you can kind of see that in visual aids and pictures and things of that nature. Also, this is going to be timestamps, so if there's sections that are more pertinent to you, stuff you're more interested in, you can check down below in the description for the timestamps. So first up, we have UConn taking on North Carolina in the Sweet 16. Ultimately, UConn wins this game 63-42, and I went to all the DFW games, so I'm going to be showing you guys like clips that I got from the game and giving some of my insight and stuff that I saw that I don't necessarily show on TV. And so let's get into it. So starting off with one of my goats, azzifudd. So she played 37 minutes, had 10 points, 4 for 12 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. No free throws in this one. She had 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals, and 1 block. So it wasn't her best day from the field, but I think there's a variety of reasons for that. Number one, I think just the way that they were playing her. They were playing her pretty physical and stuff, and so just like not letting her get to the spots that she wanted to get to as well, hedging the screens, like all those kind of things. So it's kind of difficult for her to be able to get free even. Also, I feel like Gino needs to be more intentional about getting her and Sarah involved early on in the game and setting more plays for them and stuff, because I don't feel like he does those things. Not her best day shooting the ball for a variety of reasons, but she still found a lot of ways to be impactful on the floor. When you look at her defense, when you look at her facilitation as well, and she had 5 assists, okay? And so she literally led the team in assists in this game. So she just does so many positive things. Really cool to get to see her play in person. So many good plays, and I'd be getting the plays mixed up from the game. And there was just one good defensive moment that she had on one of the players, and I posted that on social, blew up, okay, period. As it should, because there's a lot that doesn't show up, you know, just the way that she's making them hesitate, pass the ball, like really locking them up on defense. So I'm just really glad that I got to see AZ play in person for the first time. And so right here, I'm going to put my favorite plays of AZ from this game.
Back on the court from Huskies.
Also, some stuff for AZ in this game that's important and worth noting. The Dallas Wings coach, Jose Fernandez, and Kurt Miller, the GM, were in attendance for this game, okay? They also went to the Elite 8 as well. I believe I heard that. So, yeah, I'll put the screenshot of the TikTok, but they were in attendance at the game. And then this one, it says, in 113 games after UNC Sweet 16, AZ is tied number 5 with 293s made in her UConn career. She's 21 away from number 4, Maya Moore. She likely ends here. She's number 4 for 3s made in a season at UConn with 115 and is 3 away from Kalina. So, we love those things. So, great records for AZ. azzifudd has recorded 94 steals and 150 three-pointers this season. The last time a Division I player reached 100 in both categories was 25 years ago. This one here with 290 threes made, AZ moved into top 5 all-time for three-pointers made. She's also 2 rebounds and 6 steals away from 100. If she makes both, she might be the only player to do so and have this incredible stat line for the season: 100 plus made threes, 100 steals, 100 rebound, and 100 plus assists. And then on the screen, I do have a graphic that I loved that they made for Sarah and AZ as well. Okay, so those things. Also, I did want to say this, I forgot, but AZ's threes were so cash in this game. Okay, that one that she had, just the way that it went in was so satisfying, and then the other one, so I'm just glad I got to see her drain some threes in person. Okay, my grandma got to go to this game too, so I was glad that she got to see AZ and Sarah play, because I've been hyping them up. Number one pick, it's obvious. Quickly, the Dallas coaching staff has came out, and a lot of them are guard heavy and focused. Like, one of the coaches developed Kelsey Plum in college at University of Washington, one of my favorite players. Okay, and so yeah, just more evidence that they're taking AZ. And now we move on to baby goat Sarah Strong. So in this game, she played 38 minutes, had 21 points, her jersey number, 9 for 17 shooting, 0-5 from 3, 3 of 4 free throws. She had 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. Absolutely insane. She was doing so much good stuff in this game, and I think one of the ways that the game kind of like started to break open a little bit is whenever K9 was facilitating to her and she was getting to the rim. She had some nice mid-ranges in this game. Okay, so I just thought that she looked good. She looked comfortable. She's just hard to stop in the post. She just has so many moves, so many counters. She can do the face-up game on you. She can post up if need be. She can hit outside shots. She's just so dynamic, works so hard, so much fun to get to see her play the game in person as well. And I feel like they really went out of their way to kind of try to limit Sarah and AZ in this game specifically as well. But Sarah did what she needed to do, so shout out to Sarah Strong. And then right here, I'm going to have all my favorite Sarah clips from the game that I recorded. And this is something else for Sarah Strong that I want to put on the screen right here. But it says Sarah Strong per 40 minutes, 28 points a game, 11.5 rebounds, 6.2 assists, and 5.1 steals. So, I mean, that's just absolutely incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Now going on to everybody else. Sarah Williams in this game. She played 13 minutes, had 3 points, 1 of 5 shooting, no threes attempted, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 8 rebound, no assists, no turnover, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. Okay. And so, you know, she did not score the basketball well. I will say those things, but I feel like she found other ways to be impactful with some good defensive moments, and then she got some good rebounds, so I'll give her credit for that. Then we go into Ashlyn Shade. She played 26 minutes, had 4 points, 1 for 9 shooting, 0-7 from 3, 2-2 from the free throw line. She had 3 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. Rough outing for Ashlyn Shade for 1, and then for 2, felt like she took a lot of dumb shots. And yeah, just watching these games, I don't be getting how Ashlyn Shade gets so many catch and shoot 3-point opportunities, and not AZ. Okay, we got AZ playing a small forward, and Ashlyn Shade being the shooting guard. Like, we in hell. So it's just, I was irritated by Ashlyn Shade in this game, straight up. There's just some stuff I felt like she should have been taking and should have passed it out more, and I get frustrated with those things. Like, that pull-up mid-range never goes in. And then we continue on to KK Arnold. She played 30 minutes, had 3 points, 1 for 3 shooting, no threes, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 3 steals, and no blocks. KK minutes have been detrimental. I told you guys I do not trust KK in this tournament, and she has yet to prove me wrong. And I really hope she does with the South Carolina game coming up, and I will preview that later because I have a lot of thoughts on that and how we would match up with them. But just the facilitation of the ball wasn't there. I mean, how are you the starting point guard and a lot of time you don't even be leading an assist, okay? Like AZ, K9, other people be having to do her job because she can't facilitate. And 1 of 3 from the field and the shot selection, bro. I think there was a shot this game where she got the steal, she went for it, she got blocked. It's just no anticipation for those things. Like I said, she's just not a real point guard, bro. Watching it in person, it's just incompetency. It truly is. And so, yeah, I'll have some more thoughts the next game, but I wasn't pleased, okay? And then we look at the bench. Blanca in this game played 22 minutes played at 16 points, 7 for 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. No free throws, 3 rebounds, no assists. She had 1 turnover, 4 steals, okay, and 1 block. So Blanca's been cash, okay? Like, in the beginning, we really needed her because of the way that they were trying to limit Anastasia and kind of take them out of the game. And so, you know, she benefited off of that, obviously, and just... It was cash. It was cash. She had some big shots in this game when you have 2 threes, the ability to get into the post and score, and just playing fearless. So I feel like in the biggest tournament, she started to knock off the rust, and so far March Madness, she's been fantastic. So shout out to Blanca because she did a lot of great things in this game. And then we go into Jana. She played 8 minutes, had 2 points, 1 for 1 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, no steal, and no block, okay? So, I mean, it was decent in her time. You know, kind of wish she would have played more than 8 minutes, but it is what it is. And then we look on to K9. 16 minutes played, 2 points, 1 of 4 shooting, 0-1 from 3. No free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists to 2 turnovers. Ugh, I don't like that. She had 1 steal and no block. So just kind of a mixed performance. She had some good stuff. Wasn't it that one shot that she hit that I don't even know how she got there, but I might put that clip in after I'm done talking about her. But yeah, it wasn't her best. You know, I think part of it is she hasn't really been in situations like this before. And so there's something there. Just having to make some better decisions, I feel. But I still like the performance more than KK. I'm going to be real. We continue on Anastasia. 9 minutes played, she had 2 points, 1 of 2 shooting, 0-1 from 3, no free throws, 1 rebound, 3 assists, no turnovers, no steals, and no blocks. I wasn't moved. And then Caroline played 1 minute and had 0 points, so not much to talk about, okay? And then we go on to North Carolina in this game. So I will put all the stats on the screen so you guys can see what they did. And then we look at the scoring by quarter. So it's going to be 12-11, 8-17, 5-20, and 17-15. Ultimately, UConn wins this game 63-42. And so leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. Sarah Strong scoring her jersey number 21 points. And then we had Sarah with 10 rebounds. And then we had AZ with 5 assists to only 1 turnover. Thank you. And then for UNC, we had Navarre, I believe, number 24 with 20 points. And she had 8 rebounds. And Anastasia with 6 assists to 6 turnover. Good Lord, you broke even, okay? Now we go into advanced stats in this game. So UConn from the field was going to be 26 for 65, 40%, 4 of 20 from the 3-point line, Lord, these rims, and that's going to be 20%, 7 to 10 from the free throw line, 70%, 38 total rebounds in this game, 8 offensive and 30 defensive rebounds. We got killed on the offensive rebounds. 18 assists, 18 steals, 7 block, 10 total turnovers committed, 17 points off of turnovers, 13 fast breaker transition points, 36 points in the paint, 12 fouls, no techs. Largely was 25%, lead was 82. For UNC, 17 to 60 from the field, 28%, 4 of 22 from 3, 18%, 4-7 from the free throw line, 57%, 45 total rebounds, okay? So we got out-rebounded in this game, so I mean, that's just really embarrassing by us. 14 offensive and 31 defensive, 10 assists, 7 steal, 3 block, 24 turnovers, okay, and 7 points off of turnovers. We should have had more points off turnovers, to be honest. We kind of blew some of those opportunities. And then 9 fast breaker transition points, 24 points in the paint, 9 fouls, no techs. Largely was 3% lead. It's going to be 16. And now I get into my overall takeaways on this game. Like I said, I went to this game in person, so that's how I got the clips and everything for one. And I went with my grandma. My grandma was like, oh, that was a great game. I said, no, Michael Jordan. This is not the way that UConn plays. This is not UConn basketball. It was just an off game. And so basically what I think happened here, we didn't shoot the ball well, okay? And especially from 3, which is why we didn't pull away soon in this game. And Gino has mentioned this, but they get new rims for the Sweet 16 every year in the Elite 8, so that's why you see the 3 percentages and everything drop off. Shouldn't be a problem for the Final Four, from what I heard at least, so those things are good. But yeah, I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would do that. And like, just teams all across have struggled shooting the 3, so it's just really irritating with that. But I think that that's part of the reason. And then we just had some open looks that we weren't cashing in on, okay? We were struggling with that. And then I think that UNC played hard and physical on us in general in the game, especially Sarah and AZ trying to take them out of the game. So eventually they got going. They figured it out like they always do. But yeah, and so I feel like the offense got stagnant. KK, it's bad facilitating the ball. It's one thing to see it in TV, but to actually go there in person and see it, it's not good, y'all. It's not good. K9 needs to get more to keys, okay? And K9 got to play better too. Those things can be true, but I don't know. I'd rather K9 facilitate than KK. And I think the team defense was decent. We definitely should have had more points off turnovers, times where we gave up stuff that we shouldn't have, okay? But generally, like, it was fine. And second half, we finally pulled away. Just a bad game for UConn standards. Next up, we had UConn taking on Notre Dame in the Elite 8. So UConn wins this game 70-52 and advanced to the Final Four. azzifudd, she played 38 minutes, had 13 points in this one, and she was 5 for 12 from the field, 0-1 from 3, 3 of 3 free throws, 2 rebound, 4 assists. We love it. 5 turnover. She gonna clean that up. I'm not worried. And she had 3 steals and no blocks. Overall, I think that this was a decent game for AZ. It's always so many think pieces on Twitter every time AZ doesn't drop 30. And even Jesus rested, okay? It's just AZ never gets any grace. And I don't understand that for how consistent that she's been. And she's just fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of it is rooted in like racism and homophobia and just people being weird. And I don't like those things. I don't appreciate those things. That's why I always delete negative comments about AZ. It's one thing to have constructive criticism. It's another way the people and the way that they get on her sometimes. And I don't appreciate those things. So I think that it was a decent game for AZ, okay? Something similar with the last game with the way that they played her and Sarah as well, okay? Because I think they had like 6 and 4 points or something like that going into halftime. Just, again, playing them very physical, not letting them get to where they want to get to, double teams, a lot of similar stuff that you saw from the first game that I just talked about. So there's something there, but she still found a way to make something shake. AZ was living in the mid-range this game, and oh, it was glorious. That Anna one that she had, there was another midi, like just multiple shots, okay? I think she shot really well from the mid-range. I forget what the advanced stats were, but she shot really well from the mid-range, and she only attempted 1 3, which I kind of thought was odd. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. I would assume that she's going to attempt more with the next games and everything coming up, because that's just what azzifudd does. And one thing I forgot to say in my review for this game is I wish that she would have had more catch and shoot 3 opportunities. I feel like in general she doesn't get enough of those, but especially in this game. So I would have liked to see her have some more of those opportunities, because she has just such a lightning quick release and everything. So I just think the way that they were playing her defensively was one thing. I think that I kind of agree with people. There were some times where I would have liked her and Sarah to be more decisive with the ball. It's like, if you're going to pass it, pass it. If you're going to shoot it, shoot it. I think sometimes they just hesitated, and I would have liked to see them take more shots, but I think just kind of the way that the defense was playing them, like they got the ball and they were double teamed and stuff. And so I think that their teammates could do a better job of setting screens, scheming them open. And I saw a clip from the game, and they tried to do an elevator screen, but then someone was holding AZ and she couldn't get there, and then Gino and CD were like, why didn't you call the foul? So I'll probably try to put the screenshot of the tweet right here so you guys can see those things. Just thought that she did a lot of positive things, okay? That block she had on iFriends Who Are Homosexual ate so bad. Like, so many good plays that I posted on social, okay? And so I'm gonna have the clips right here of my favorite AZ plays. And now a few extra things to know for AZ is that she made the all-tournament team, so thank you. And then also there was a fan who was holding up a sign saying that we want AZ #1 in Dallas. Exactly, okay? So that is something that we love to see. That is something that we love to see, absolutely. AZ will be coming here. AZ will be coming here. It's so obvious, I fear. But again, just really enjoyed getting to see AZ play her game. It was just so much fun. It was so much fun. Like, you just see how hard she works in real time, getting to see her communicate with her teammates, how hard she plays on defense. It was a joy. Now we go on to baby goat Sarah Strong. She played 39 29 minutes, had 21 points again, her jersey number, 6 for 13 from the field shooting. 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 8 free throws, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnover. She had 5 steals and 3 blocks. Yeah, Sarah was on a heater. There's this one moment in the game, she had 2 blocks back to back, and just like the way that she was clapping, you know, you don't really see her, you know, kind of get like emotional like that in a sense, you know, like hyped up like that. So I thought that that was cool. She had some threes in this game, which I absolutely love. Capitalized at the free throw line whenever they did foul her, getting in the mid-range at times, finishing at the basket. Just Sarah Strong doing what Sarah Strong does. Like, her defense is so good, her anticipation, her IQ, and reading the floor. So just really enjoyed watching her as well, okay? And then I'll put my favorite Sarah clips right here from the game so you guys can see that. And Sarah was named the most outstanding player for the region that they were in. So shout out to Sarah Strong for that honor. And oh, I forgot to talk about it, which is a clip that you guys will see. But that one whenever AZ kicked it out to Blanca for the 3 and how happy Sarah was after. There's just so many good clips. There's so many good clips, okay, that I had to put in. This is a stat for Sarah Strong, but it says, Sarah Strong, the Fort Worth 1 regional MOP, has now scored 192 points in her NCAA tournament career. That's the second most in UConn history through 10 career games. Only behind Maya Moore, 199. We love those things. We love those things. Coming up big for March Madness. Now we're going to Sarah Williams. She played 9 minutes, had 2 points, 1 for 2 shooting, no threes attempted, 0-1 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block in this game. So, I feel like she's had better games. Not to say that she was bad. I just needed more. I just needed more. So I guess I'll put it that way. Then we're going to Ashlyn Shade. She played 22 minutes, had no points, 0-3 from 3, 0-1 from the 3-point line, no free throws, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and no blocks in this game. Okay. And so it just is not good. It's not good. She has not been good in the tournament so far. And I really hope that she figures it out because we need what we can get. We need what we can get. Scoring is important. Obviously, there's other ways to contribute, but she got to score the ball. Like, I forget what she was from the field this tournament. It just has not been good. It truly hasn't, and the decision making is bad. Then KK Arnold, she played 31 minutes in this game, 2 points, 0 of 6 from the field, y'all. And she was 0-1 from 3, 2 free throws. She had 3 rebounds, 4 assists, no turnover, 2 steals, and no blocks. And so I feel like, when are we going to have an honest conversation about KK Arnold? Like I said on my TikTok account, I'm just so tired of people making excuses for her. I genuinely do not understand it. She got to play better than she is right now. Just straight up. It's just the decision making for me. When we go 0 of 6 from the field, like genuinely, all these contested layups, not having a solid jump shot, not being able to come through in the big games. Like, this is just not the first time when it's been a big game and she's choked. You had this one last game, she didn't play well. And then you also had the Ohio State game. I believe she had 0 points. The Michigan game, I was incredibly frustrated. Like, she had some big shots at the end, but like watching that in real time, incredibly frustrated. Tennessee, when Gino had to bench her in the 4th quarter, it's just consistent. She doesn't come through. She makes bad decisions. She makes bad reads. She goes way too fast in transition. Like, she be committing the fouls and she be reaching in too much. And she's lucky that some of it doesn't get called. But yeah, there's just multiple times I saw her get beat on defense. Like, she had some good plays, but multiple times where I saw her get beat. And like I said, seeing it in person is a whole different thing. So I'm just tired of people making excuses for KK Arnold. I'm genuinely tired, okay? Like, it gets to a point. It gets to a point. You have to have other people step in and do what you're not able to do with facilitating the ball. You need 3 people to do one thing because one person can't do it correctly. And that's what really frustrates me, okay? And it's just like, if Gino's going to have her on the floor, then just have her play off the ball and have her play defense. Like, do not have her facilitate. So I hope that she comes through in the rest of this tournament. I really do. But like I said, I don't trust her in the tournament, and she hasn't been good so far. So I just don't know how people can watch the same games and continually make excuses for her. You had all year. You had multiple years to learn, and this is what we got. And I don't like it. I don't like the point guard play from KK Arnold. Blanca in this game, she played 30 minutes, had 20 points, 7 for 12 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. I don't love those things. She had 1 steal and no blocks. Blanca was so good in this game. She had multiple big shots for us in the game. When you have 4 threes, oh yeah, like I said, getting in the post, playing good defense, good IQ, just enjoying what I see from Blanca, like I already said. So shout out to Blanca. And then she made the all-tournament team as well, which was richly deserved. She's just been so good, okay? And we really needed her. Then we go on to Yana. She played 1 minute. She had no points. She did block I have friends who are homosexual at the end, and she ate that, okay? I forget who turned it over. That might have been her or somebody else, and then I was like, oh my god, she's gonna go stat pad, and then she got that block. She ate that block. I will give her that. And then we go on to Jana. She played 7 minutes, 4 points, 2 for 2 shooting, no threes, 0-2 from the free throw line. She had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, no turnover, no steal, and no blocks. I thought she was really positive in her time, being able to score. I think she sets good screens, and we're going to need a lot of screens against South Carolina, so hopefully he plays her more minutes. And then she also rebounds the ball well, and then has good moments with defense. So we got killed on the rebounding, and I think that's going to be pivotal for the South Carolina game for sure. But I think that she's been good, and hopefully he plays her more minutes. And then K9, 11 minutes played, 6 points, 2 of 2 shooting. She had no threes, 2-2 from the free throw line, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnover, no steal, and no luck. I'm kind of spotty with the performance. You know, I had things I liked. I had things that I didn't like. So still need some improvement for her. But yeah. And then Isabel, she played 11 minutes, 2 points, 1 of 2 shooting, 0-1 from 3, no free throws, no rebound, 2 assists, no turnover, no steal, no block. Not boomed by the minutes. Caroline played 1 minute and she had 0 points, so not much to talk about. Now continue on to Notre Dame, okay? I have friends who are homosexual. She played 40 minutes, had 22 points, 7 of 19 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. She had 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 turnovers, backbreaking. She had 3 steals and no blocks. You know, I will say she foul baited so bad in this game. Multiple times where she was flopping and the refs bought it. So I will say that for one. I think she had some good plays on this game, times where we left her wide open where we shouldn't have. I think we had moments of good defense on her. Wish we were able to limit her more, because I think we limited her to 9 points at halftime, and then she finished with 22. So, you know, we gave up 13 points. So I don't like those things, okay? I'll give her credit because she plays really hard, will do anything for her team to win, and especially on defense as well. Picking pockets, getting steals, scoring off that at the other end, some good moments facilitating. So she did everything that she could. I think that her teammates let her down, so that's for one. But I'll give her credit for that. And like I said, the block Azzy had on her 8, so thank you. Going on to Maya Coles, I believe her name is. So she played 24 minutes, had 4 points, 2 for 5 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnover, no steal, no block. She doesn't move me, okay? And then Cassandra Prosper, 32 minutes played, 4 points, 2 of 3 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 turnover, 2 steal, and no blocks. So I'm kind of surprised she didn't have more touches, but I feel like I saw AZ guarding her a fair amount of the game. So when AZ guarding you, yeah, you're probably going to be cooked. So that's something there. And I'll talk more about the guarding assignments at the end, because I never got to talk about that. And then we have Vanessa De Jesus, 35 minutes played. She had 8 points, 2 of 5 shooting, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 5 rebound, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, just backbreaking, no steal and no block. Again, I'm not that moved. And then we have Ayana Moore. So she played 38 minutes, 7 points, 3 for 10 shooting, 0-6 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebound, no assist, 1 turnover, 3 steals, and 1 block. So it's not great. The bench, you got 7 points from KK Bransford, so I'll give her credit for that. And now we go into scoring by quarter. So it's going to be 11-20, 14-12. 11-15, 16-23. Ultimately, UConn wins this game 70-52. Leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. So Sarah had 21 points, Blanca had 8 rebounds, and AZ with 4 assists. Like I said, we're going to clean the turnover up. And then for Notre Dame, I have friends who are homosexual, 22 points, and she had 11 rebounds and 3 assists to 5 turnovers. We continue on with the advanced metrics. So UConn from the field in this game shot 24-54 from the field, which is going to be 44%. 6-17 from 3, 35%. Okay, no azzifudd. And 16-20 from the free throw line, 80%. 35 total rebounds, okay? And then you had 11 offensive rebounds and 24 defensive rebounds, 18 assists, 14 steal, 5 block, 14 total turnovers, 19 points off of turnovers, 14 fast break registration points, 22 points in the paint, 18 fouls, no techs. Largest lead was 19, and percent level was going to be 91. Then we go into Notre Dame. They were 18-46 from the field, 39%. 4-12 from 3, 33%. 12-19 from the free throw line, 63%. 28 total rebounds, 7 offensive, 21 defensive, 7 assists, 9 steal, 1 block, 18 total turnovers, 7 points off of turnovers, no fast break registration points, 20 points in the paint, 18 foul, no tech. Largest was 2%. Led was going to be 3. And then right here, I got some team photos, them celebrating going to the Final Four with their hats and everything. You see AZ and K9 moment. I have an AZ and Blocker moment, so I might edit that in. And then also, for my overall thoughts, I want to put on this graphic that got made for them going to the Final Four, because this ain't more than the official graphic by ESPN or whatever, or March Madness. So I wanted to share it because I thought that this graphic was cool. I like all the white. And so, yeah, my overall takeaways on this one, before I forget to say this, I do not understand for the life of me why Gino did not have AZ guarding. I have friends who are homosexual. And a lot of people said, like, oh, what, so she doesn't get tired on offense and blah, blah, blah. But she should have been guarding her more than she was. She had some good stuff. She had a couple steals off her, and we love those things, but I just feel like she should have been guarding her more throughout the game. So I'm guessing that that's a Gino thing, and I'm tired of him not giving AZ like harder defensive assignments and stuff and everything, because it's a whole thing, people saying, oh, it's to get her open, and then she's still not getting enough catch and shoot opportunities and like plays ran for her and everything. So then it's like, what's the point, you know? So I did not understand those things. You have her guarding, I believe, Cassandra Prosper and more. I'm like, why is she guarding fours? Why is she guarding fours right now? Like, I did not understand those things, okay? So that's something that I had to get off my chest. And this game was not great in person to watch. It was not, I will be honest. And so I think it wasn't a great team performance. And UConn only led by like 7 or 8 at halftime. I think it was something similar that happened with the North Carolina game as well. And so I think Notre Dame's defensive pressure definitely bothered us. And just times where they were speeding us up, we weren't able to get into a rhythm. We had too many turnovers in the game. And so I do not appreciate those things, like 14 turnovers. Like, that's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And they played hard, so I'll definitely give them credit for that. But I also feel like they were allowed to get away with a lot of physicality when we're grabbing and pushing and shoving and all those things that refs didn't call. So I didn't appreciate that. And I do want to say that. And so there is that. And then I feel at times it's like we were trying to get everything all at once with the possessions. And a lot of times we just came up empty and had nothing. So those things were frustrating as well. And just offense getting stagnant. And I don't like those things. And I think with how hard that they were playing us the first half, I knew they were going to get tired in the second half, and they did, and they did. Like I said, you can tell that their plan was not to get Sarah and AZ looks, okay? When you're double teaming them, hedging the screens, forcing them to have to take difficult shots and pass the ball, just like a lot of ball pressure. So those are things that I noticed. Obviously, KK as the facilitator don't work. Other people got to do her job. I'm tired, okay? Already went over that, and I feel like we didn't really start to pull away until the end of the third into the fourth, whenever she was on the bench, and you had like AZ and K9 facilitating. So there's that. The rebounding was really frustrating. It felt like every single time the ball came down, we weren't even anywhere close to getting it, and just losing the ball and just having to fight harder for the rebounds and having to secure the rebounds. Like, it's an extremely important part of the game, and I feel like they got a fair amount of like second chance opportunities with that. So I didn't appreciate the rebounding, having to improve all that, okay? I've had problems with the rebounding pretty much all year. You have to fight for the rebound, okay? That's what, you know, Jana is helpful for with the rebounds and some other stuff that she can do, okay? And then I think that the defense was decent. We definitely gave up some shots that we shouldn't have. And then we fouled too much. And the refs were on BS at points, but also controlling what you can control. Because there was a point in this game, Sarah had 3 fouls, okay? And Gino ended up trusting her, and it was fine, but I just don't want us to put ourselves in those kind of positions. So not liking those things, not liking those things. And I felt that his rotations were terrible. He kept subbing KK and K9 in and out. And I feel like in general, he was just trying to figure out what was going to get the spark going. And you saw him doing a lot of substitutions, and I don't think that they were great. I knew we were going to win. It was just a matter of when. And like I said, we put them away somewhere in the third and into the fourth. I'm expecting a better performance against South Carolina. Can't make the same mistakes that we made in this game. And I think that Gino's going to have to make some tough choices. If you got to bench KK, he got to bench KK. We got to win the game. And that made it more stressful than it needs to be, okay? So that is something there. And then want to talk about the all-tournament teams for this region, okay? So, like I said, Sarah Strong is your most outstanding player, richly deserved. And then we had one, azzifudd, thank you. Blanca as well. Then we had Aubrey Galvin from Vanderbilt, and then we have I have friends who are homosexual from Notre Dame. So that was the Fort Worth region all-tournament team. I got my Sweet 16 UConn shirt that I bought, and then I did buy another shirt just for the regional, so I'll wear that on another occasion. I always got to reference a shirt that I'm wearing and talk about it. And then for 2, there was definitely a moment in, I think it was the second game, the one against Notre Dame, where AZ got fouled and they did not call that, okay? So yeah, those things being irritating for sure, but she just had so many good moments in general. Like the Ann one was so cash. I was so hyped, glad I got to see her drain some threes and everything, but those are just a few notes I had to say before going to the next section. Now we go on to Notre Dame versus Vanderbilt in the Sweet 16. Okay, kind of in reverse order, but I always start off with UConn first. You guys know that. Notre Dame wins this game 67-64. Starting off with Notre Dame in this game, I have friends who are homosexual, had a masterclass. So she played 39 minutes at 31 points, 14 for 25 shooting, 0-2 from 3, 3 free throws, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 turnovers, 10 steals is absolutely insane. And then she had 1 block. Her masterclass ate down, okay? My grandma, I was explaining to her like the matchups before the game, who was gonna play who, and then like actually watching the game with her and her seeing it, like she was so excited. She really enjoyed watching her play specifically. And yeah, she went off. They couldn't stop her every single time they went on a little run, always finding a way to answer. Just so much hustle on the defensive end. You saw her guarding Galvin at times, you saw her guarding Blake at times, getting turnovers, being able to score off that the other end. Like, it was insane. She was hitting some really tough shots. That one where she floated it in and it went in, and then she was shocked about that. Like, so many good plays. Okay, so got to give credit to her and her hustle, because she really dragged them to the Elite Eight. She really did. Like, she was on, she played really hard. So got to give her credit for that, because her motor just, it doesn't stop. Okay. And then we look at everyone else. So we had Coles in this game. She played 33 minutes. She had 8 points, 4 for 8 shooting, no threes attempted, no free throws. She had 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and 1 block. It was decent, needed more. And then we have Cassandra Prosper. She played 34 minutes, 15 points, 5 for 13 shooting, 0-2 from 3, 5 of 8 free throws, 5 rebounds, no assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, and 1 block. So, not efficient. Found a way to make something shake, but yeah. And then we had Vanessa De Jesus, 29 minutes played. She had 3 points, 1 for 4 shooting, and 1 of 4 from 3. No free throws, 4 rebounds, no assists, 4 turnovers, backbreaking. She had no steals, and she had 1 block. Again, I'm not moved. And then we have Ayana Moore. Lord. So she played 36 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 11 shooting, y'all. 0 of 8 from 3. No free throws, 1 rebound, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and 1 block. So yeah, it was just rough to watch. I don't know why they kept giving her the threes. She was not making them. I do not understand that. That's one of the things that let Vanderbilt hang in this game for a little bit too long. So, yeah, I did not get that. And then the bench, you didn't get much. Okay, Sanchez gave you no points. And then Bransford, you had 6 points on 2 for shooting. And then a few other stats. But that was everyone for Notre Dame in this game. And then we got to talk about Vanderbilt and one Michaela Blakes. So in this game, she played 40 minutes, had 26 points, 7 of 26 shooting. Like, it just got to a point for me. 0 of 5 from 3, and she was 12 of 13 from the free throw line. She had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnover, 3 steal, and 1 block. This has to be one of the worst choke jobs I've ever seen, y'all. Like, y'all do not even understand. It just, nothing was going in. And they did a really good job making her have to take a lot of hard and contested looks and not letting her get to her spot. So I will say that. But she had multiple times where she was open and it just wasn't going in. And she flopped all over the place this entire game. Like, I knew she was going to flop, but it got to a point. It felt like every time I looked up, she was at the free throw line. Like, it just got to a point. Me and my grandma were confused. So, yeah, she just did not play well. She did not play well. At the end, she kind of snap had it and everything. But, yeah, this kind of was like the Ole Miss game. And it's one thing seeing it on TV, another thing seeing it in person. So, yeah, the choke job was actually insane, I fear. And then we go on. Let's talk about Galvin next. She played 39 minutes, 24 points, 7 of 16 shooting, 3 of 7 from the three-point line, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. She had 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 turnovers, backbreaking. She had 1 steal and no blocks. So I thought that she had some good moments in the game. When she hit those 2 threes back to back, that was insane. And I feel like they should have, rode with her afterwards, and I'll talk about that at the end. But she has some good plays in this game. I'll give her credit for that. Hit some hard shots. Sasha Washington, 11 minutes played, 3 points, 1 of 1 shooting, no threes, 1 of 1 free throws, 3 rebounds, no assists, 6 turnovers. She had no steal, no block. Underwhelming. Okay, Jackalinga gave you 3 points. Passat, 2 points on 1 of 6. She had 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 turnovers. Yeah. Off the bench, you didn't get much, okay? Mitchell, 2 points, Black, 0 points, and then Jada Brown had 4 points, okay? So that's everyone for Vanderbilt in this basketball game. And we look at scoring by quarter, okay? So it's going to be 15-11, 16-15, 19-18, 17-20. Ultimately, Notre Dame wins 67-64. And then we look at leaders for points, rebounds, and assists, okay? So I have friends who are homosexual with 31 points, and she had 11 rebounds, and she had 7 assists or 3 turnovers. And she got a triple-double. I don't think I mentioned that, but yeah, she had a triple-double. So that was insane, and she had some record with that. And then I think she broke the all-time record for most steals in a season for the ACC or something like that. That was insane. And then Michaela Blakes, 26 points, and Mitchell had 10 rebounds, and Blakes with 3 assists and 2 turnovers. So, Lord. Advanced stats in this game. Notre Dame was 28 of 66 from the field, 42%. 1 of 17 from 3 is insane, like I said, the rims, though. And then that's going to be 6%. 10 of 13 from the free throw line, 77%. They had 30 total rebounds, 7 offensive, 23 defensive, 13 assists, 16 steals, 5 blocks, 13 total turnovers, 23 points off of turnovers, 27 fast breaker transition points, 54 points in the paint, 18 fouls, no tech. Largely was 12, and percent that was 81. Then we go into Vanderbilt, 19 of 54 from the field, 35%, 5 of 18 from the three-point line, 28%, 21 of 25 from the free throw line. You see the free throw discrepancy, 84%, 44 total rebounds, 12 offensive, 32 defensive, 9 assists, 5 steals, 7 blocks, 23 turnovers, Lord, 4 points off of turnovers, 9 fast breaker transition points, 20 points in the paint, 13 fouls, no tech. And largely was 3%, led was going to be 6, okay? And so my overall takeaways did not have Notre Dame going as far. I feel like it was one of the harder paths to be leading. So I'll give I have friends who are homosexual her credit for lifting them multiple times. And I think that Notre Dame played way better defense than Vanderbilt. And they did a great job at limiting Michaela Blake's, forcing her to take difficult shots, not letting her get the ball. And like when you see the difference in the turnovers, like I said, so it was 13 turnovers and 23 points off of turnovers to 23 turnovers and 4 points off of turnovers. Also, Notre Dame feasted in transition when you have 27 points to Vanderbilt's 9. So I think that was something that was definitely going to be helpful for them. I think that the refs were terrible in this game, did not appreciate their involvement in it, okay? And then, like I said, I have friends who are homosexual masterclass 8, okay? And then Vanderbilt looked a mess. I did not expect them to look this bad. Choke job was insane. And then I think that I'm not necessarily surprised by like Notre Dame winning this because I said it could have gone either way. I guess I didn't expect it to look the way that it looked. Vanderbilt turnovers backbreaking for me. That one that Blake's had at the end, yeah, that was not helpful. That was not helpful. I felt that they had bad shot selection as a team in this game. And I feel like at a certain point you had to go away from Blake's because she just wasn't getting it done. After Gavin had those 2 threes, I think that they should have went with her and got her more touches, but no. And I get Blake's got you this far, but it just wasn't good. And I think that their defense sucked, like I said. And so I really wanted to see Vanderbilt play UConn because of all the narratives that the Vanderbilt fans said about the National Player of the Year race and everything about Sarah and about all that stuff. But they couldn't even hold up their end of the bargain. So I really wanted to see that, but they did not perform well, okay? And then I think that Shea Ralph should have taken a timeout at the end to get the right play because that was just not the right moment at the end. And then I think that overall, Vanderbilt made too many mistakes. Notre Dame forced them into some of them, and then the unforced errors, they capitalized off of that. So, yeah, it was a decent game. You know, catch the replay. So that's kind of my takeaways on that. Also, Notre Dame killed them in points in the paint. Forgot to say that. Then the next game that we had, LSU taking on Duke in the Sweet 16. So, Duke wins this game 87-85, and they pulled an upset. Yes, LSU was a Sweet 16 exit. So much to talk about. Entertaining game. And so, we start off with LSU. Let's talk about Big Four, Flau'jae Johnson. She played 30 minutes, had 13 points. She was 6 of 15 shooting, 0-2 from 3, 1 and 2 free throws, 5 rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and no block. Like I said before, I enjoy her as a player. I think she's talented. She has the talent of a lottery pick. She hasn't played like that. At the end of the day, she's a choke artist. When the moment matters most, you can't count on her. You can't count on her, and she has not been consistent this season, and that's one of the things that I value, and I feel like she just kind of tanked her draft stock this season, no shade. And then it's like, with a performance like this, especially in the Sweet 16, like, people are going to remember this, and this being her last game in an LSU jersey, it's not great. It's not great. And then we got to talk about that moment that she had at the end, whenever she bit on the pump fake, and then she gave up that 3, which was a really difficult shot. Her reaction after that, like, bro, that's going to be a meme. People are using the Big Four meme after the game, after the South Carolina game. So yeah, did not play well. So I think a lot of it just comes down to a mental thing for Flau'jae. So hopefully the change of scenery in the WNBA will help her. Her mom got to stop talking so much. It's just like I've seen Flau'jae perform at her best and what she can do. So I just hope that she gets a sports psychologist to get her mind right so she can be more consistent in the games. Because I just feel like she puts a lot of pressure on herself and stuff. And so I think there's something there. And then we move on to Michaela Williams. She played 35 minutes, 22 points, 6 for 15 shooting as well, 1 of 4 from 3, 9 and 9 free throws. She had 5 rebounds, no assists, 2 turnover, no steal, and no block. I don't know why nobody ever talks about in some of these big games. Michaela Williams will have good moments and then she disappears. Part of that is them playing good defense on her at times, but there's just multiple times where like she misses big shots and like she's just absent in the game. And I feel like Flau'jae catches a lot of heat for her bad performances, and rightfully so. As long as we keep it on basketball and we don't get personal, you know, I think that there's something there for one. And then for two, that ultimately in turn, Michaela Williams doesn't be getting the criticism that I feel like she deserves. Like, nobody's talking about Michaela Williams' choke job when you went 6 of 15 from the field. So I feel like Flau'jae is going to get criticism, rightfully so. I feel like Michaela Williams doesn't really get enough criticism. Like, she kind of just like skates by and people don't talk about it. So I don't understand those things because this is a choke job too that people don't want to talk about, okay? And then we continue on to Kate Coball. She played 21 minutes, had no points, 0-1 from the field, no threes, no free throws, 3 rebounds, no assists, 2 turnover, no steal, and 4 blocks. Not great. I don't like what Kim got in the post. I said that before. And then Zakiya Johnson, 6 minutes played. She had no points, 0-1 from the field, no threes, no free throws, 1 rebound, no assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block. Okay. And so I don't understand why she only played 6 minutes. I think that she's been really positive in her contributions for LSU. She rebounds the ball well. She plays hard. So I don't understand why Kim did that. Somebody told me she got in foul trouble and she didn't put her back in. I don't know why you wouldn't put her back in. I think she's been a positive contributor more often than not. So I didn't understand that. And then we had Jada Richard. She played 21 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 8 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnover, no steal, no block. You just needed more straight up. And then that's going to be all the starters. Then off the bench, let's start off with Malaysia for a change. I never do this. So she played 33 minutes, had 28 points, 11 for 17 shooting, 2 of 2 from 3, 4 of 4 free throws. She had 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and 1 block. I told y'all I was waiting for Malaysia legacy game in the tournament. And another legacy game wasted. Don't y'all remember whenever she put up a show against South Carolina in the second game that they played in the SEC tournament, they still lost? That's what this felt like. That's what this felt like, okay? She was hitting threes. She was toying with them again, hitting some tough shots at the rim, and when Malaysia's on and she's having a good game, she's extremely fun to watch. So we got her legacy game, and they wasted it, okay? Having some back-breaking turnovers for sure, and having some bad shot selection, yes, but it was definitely not Malaysia's fault why they lost this game. And some people are going to point to that layup that she missed at the end, but in general, I feel like games do not come down to one play. Like Paige said this after the Final Four and Aaliyah Edwards' illegal screen, and I definitely agree with that. There's just multiple things that they could have done to where they wouldn't have even gotten themselves into that position at the end. So even with Flage's moment where she got beat at the end, which is unfortunate, and Malaysia's missed layup, I am not going to say that that was the reason they lost again. There's just so many other things that they could have done for one. And then for two, Malaysia, there's no way anybody can blame her for this game. And all these takes about her transferring and all these other things, and that's a whole other can of worms. But Malaysia showed up. She showed out. She was efficient. She played good defense. She did what she required to do, and she showed up. I can't say the same about Michaela Williams and Flage. So I don't know. Like some of the takes people get off, I don't agree with those things. Then we have Grace Knox. She played 22 minutes, 7 points, 3 of 6 shooting, no threes, 1 of 1 free throws, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, no steal, and no blocks. So it was decent. It was not bad, I would say. Joyner, 26 minutes played. She had 9 points, 4 of 8 shooting, no threes, 1 of 1 free throws, 6 rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. So it's not bad. You needed more rebound. And I don't know. She just doesn't have anyone to lead in the post, like I said. And then Hines, 7 minutes played. She recorded no stats beside 1 assist and 1 turnover. So that's everyone for LSU. Now we go on to Duke in this game. So Toby Fournier, she played 32 minutes, 22 points. She was also 6 of 15. Lord. 0-1 from 3, 10 of 12 free throws, 9 rebound, 1 assist, 4 turnover, 3 steal, and 1 block. Don't love the efficiency. I'm going to get that off the bat. But finding other ways to contribute. They fouled her too many times. She made most of her free throws. She got a lot of rebounds. She played good defense. So she did what she needed to do. So she took them to the promised land. And then Delaney Thomas, 19 minutes played, 7 points, 3 for 4 shooting, no threes, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. She had 2 rebounds, no assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks in this game. So it was decent. And then you had Ashlyn Jackson, okay? She was the one who hit that 3 on Flage at the end. So she came up huge with that. She played 36 minutes, 19 points, 6 of 14 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, 5 of 8 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. So she had a decent game overall. Did not shoot the 3 well, but she made the 3 when it matters most. And that's what matters at the end of the day. Then we had Mare. 36 minutes played, 22 points, 8 of 18. Lauren, 4 of 10 from 3, 2 free throw, 5 rebound, 4 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steal, and no block. Not efficient, but she did enough. And then we had Nelson. She played 22 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 6 shooting, 0-1 from 3, no free throws, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, no turnover, no steal, and 1 block. So not great. And then the bench, Jordan Wood gave you 4 points, and then Robertson gave you 9 points. This is unrelated, but do you guys remember that Duke game in the regular season when they played West Virginia? And then there was that fight that broke out, and Duke only had 1 player get ejected from the game. West Virginia had 5 players get ejected, I believe, or something like that. They only had 5 available players, and Duke still lost the game. I remember that. And that fight was the only good part of the game. But that ate. But that's just an aside because Jordan Wood was involved in that. And then we look at advanced stats. So scoring by quarter, 24-19, 23-21, 20-25, and 20-20 in the fourth quarter. Ultimately, Duke wins 87-85 in this game. Then leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. Malaysia for Wiley, 28 points. Amaya Joyner, 6 rebound. And then we had Malaysia with 4 assists and 2 turnover. For Duke, Fournier with 22 points, Robertson with 10 rebound, and Jackson with 5 assists to 1 turnover. Advanced stats in this game, LSU was going to be 33 of 71 from the field, which is going to be 46%. 3 of 8 from 3, 38%. 16 of 17 from the free throw line, 94%. 41 total rebounds, 15 offensive, 26 defensive. And they got killed on the offensive rebounds. 8 assists, 3 steals, 6 block, 11 total turnovers, 10 points off of turnovers, 4 fast breaker transition points, 52 points in the paint, 19 fouls, no techs, largely was 2%, led was 5. And then on to Duke, 31 of 73 from the field, 42%, 7 of 26 from 3, 27%, 18 of 23 from the free throw line, 78%, 41 total rebounds, 20 offensive rebounds, and 21 defensive rebounds. They had 16 assists, 8 steals, 6 block, 11 total turnovers, 10 points off of turnovers, 13 fast break points or transition points, 38 points in the paint, 16 fouls, no techs, largest lead was 11%, lead was going to be 89. Now onto my overall takeaways on this game. So first and foremost, I was not expecting it to go this way. I know a lot of us are in the same boat. I really thought that LSU's choke job was not going to come into the Elite Eight. So I knew that all of their issues were going to culminate in a moment where they would be eliminated. I just didn't think it would be this early in the game. Like, that was insane to me. Like, the way that it ended, like, all their losses have been in such a dramatic fashion. So that's something that I had to say there, okay? I think that Kara Lawson Scout 8. And so I feel like she is a better coach than I thought she was. And I know that sounds backhanded, but, like, that's just the way that I thought to word it. Like, I don't know. I thought that LSU had too much offensive firepower for Duke to keep up with them, and Duke did. So I definitely want to give them credit for that, and Kara Lawson for coaching, because they have improved. So I wanted to say that. And I think that Duke won this game because they relied on hard work and their scheme. Like that one play on the inbound for Ashlyn Jackson's threes, I've never seen anything like that. That was a really smart play. Things like that, and they didn't let up. I feel like LSU this entire year has relied too much on their talent instead of hard work, and their guards did not show up. And I told you guys that if LSU lost this game, it was going to be because their guards choked. And they did, outside of Malaysia. Malaysia was the only one who came through. So I wanted to say that. And it kind of just felt to me watching this game that LSU thought that this game was won before they already stepped on the court. And that's a huge problem, And so, you know, like I said before, LSU is undisciplined. They don't run real sets. It's a whole lot of street ball, and that they don't have like a hierarchy or leadership, and their defense is terrible. They don't care enough about it. They just focus on outscoring. And then what happens whenever you can't score, you can't get consecutive stops. That's how they be losing the games whenever they do lose. And so I think that those things came up to bite. I felt like they turned over the basketball too much, and they made them pay for all the turnovers that they had in this game. And so I feel the post players have been mid all season. Kim Mulkey admitted that basically they didn't win anything without elite post play. Thinking about when she had players like Brittany Griner, like Angel Reese, like Anissa Morrow, and then you got me Kate Koval and Amaya Joyner in the post. And you thought that you were going to make something shake with that. I feel like in her heart she knew that, and she said she wants to get a few players in the portal. They better be post players. Because the post this year, they didn't get enough rebounds in general. They couldn't score the basketball enough. Just too many mistakes. And they couldn't play defense as well. So I feel like that's something that people are not talking about enough, but I just knew LSU's post was going to come back to bite them as well. So I wanted to say those things. And I don't know, Isaac Kai Johnson didn't play more. And like I said, they made too many mistakes, and Duke capitalized off of their mistakes. And so shout out to the Duke players. They played really hard. The first time they played each other, Duke got off to like a 14-2 run at the beginning. Then LSU locked in and they did their thing. And then Duke really went cold to scoring, and their defense wasn't as good, and they lost the game. And I thought that that's what was going to happen. I thought that Duke was going to fall apart in the second half, and they didn't do that. They kept up. So want to give them their credit for that as well. They hit a lot of big shots, especially that one at the end. And I feel like refs definitely had some phantom fouls today, and I didn't appreciate that. So I will say that there. And LSU has been such good TV this season, y'all. Like, when we look back, we had both South Carolina games, we had the Kentucky game, we had both Texas games. The first one wasn't my favorite, but the second Texas game, 8. Like, we had this game as well. The first game in the tournament was really good. Like, LSU had some of my favorite games this season, like, bar none. So much entertainment, bro. That Vanderbilt game, Vanderbilt ate them up in that game. Like, that fourth quarter when Blake's got the switch and Kate Koval switch on her, and then she hit that reverse layup, and then the other one where she was hitting the floor. I still remember those moments, and like all the big games. Like, LSU was just fun TV. When they win, whenever they lose, and the reactions, like, you got just so much memes out of LSU basketball this year, from the players, from Kim. Like, I was very entertained. Like, a lot of it was dramatic moments when you're thinking about South Carolina, both times, bro. Flage's missed free throws at the end, her reaction to that, and then the set, bro, like, just so, like, Michaela Williams hyping the crowd up before the game was even over, and Kentucky and them lose. Like I said, just so many good games this year. So definitely want to give LSU credit for providing me a lot of entertainment with women's basketball. And at the end of the season, I definitely want to make a video about my favorite basketball games this year. And LSU, they got at least like 4 or 5 appearances. It was just too good. It was too good what they did. Like, I had so much entertainment. Y'all don't even understand. Like, so I wanted to say those things. But everything that LSU has been lacking, all of their mistakes, the inconsistency from the guards, not playing good with the post, Kim Mulkey not being able to coach that great, it all came back to bite. Basically is the gist of this game. Shout out to Duke, but it was a good game. Also, something that I wanted to say is, somebody tweeted this, but they were like, no one's more upset about this than Lauren, because Lauren said that she wanted to see them again in the tournament. And I saw this clip of Flage, I think it was whenever they did the full court press documentary, and she said she wanted to see Lauren at the game and told them that they'll be back. and just, I wish we would have got that matchup because I think that would have been a really good game, but LSU couldn't hold their end of the bargain. But yeah, I mean, Lauren, she really said she wanted them, and she did not get them because they did not meet their end of the bargain. But, I thought that was funny, so I wanted to say that. Also, something to add is that people were saying basically, like, isn't it poetic that Flage's career ends at the hands of Kara Lawson because of the whole drama with USA Basketball and her not playing Flage a lot. So I thought that was kind of funny for one, and then for two, I think that's also kind of what makes Flage's performance disappointing because, again, like, this is the coach who you said didn't play you enough, and then the first time they played, she didn't show up until the fourth quarter, and then this one just, like, it was bad. So I think those two things are things that I wanted to highlight for sure with this specific game. Next up, we have South Carolina taking on Oklahoma in the Sweet 16. So South Carolina wins this game at 98-64. And so this is one I'm kind of just going to speed by. I think I have like 12 games to cover and just a lot of talking and a lot of editing. So some of the games I kind of just speed by, and it was really a belt. So I'm just going to go over what you guys needed to know in this game, and we can keep it pushing. So Tessa had a great game, 21 minutes. She had 14 points, 6 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from 3, no free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and 1 block. When Tessa gets going, we love to see it. And she had some really good shots in this game, doing other stuff, being able to create off the dribble. And a lot of teams don't scout her, don't understand those things, but she lit it up. So shout out to Tessa, she was huge. And then Tania Lassen had a really good game. She played 30 minutes, 28 points, 7 for 11 shooting, 4-4 from the three-point line, 10 and 10 free throws. She loves to foul bait. And 1 rebound, 5 assists to 4 turnovers. That's a terrible ratio. No steal and no block. And then Raven came up huge. She played 25 minutes, 18 points, 8 for 11 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. No free throws, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, no turnovers, 1 steal, and no block. So she had a really good game, hitting wide open shots for you. I think that those were the 3 that were the biggest for South Carolina's game. And then McKeer also gave you 10 points off the bench. I feel like she's been good for them in this tournament. So I think that those are the ones that stood out the most. Joyce did not play well in this game. Part of it was them playing good defense on her, but like I said, she a choke artist. But I'll get to that later, y'all trust. So that was the most important stuff for South Carolina. And then for Oklahoma, you had City of Norman. She played 37 minutes, 21 points, 8 of 21 shooting. Lord, 3 of 11 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws, no rebound, 3 assists, 3 turnovers. She had no steals and no blocks. So City of Norman did what she could to make something shake. She hit a lot of tough shots. Like I said, in general, she should take less threes, getting in the post more, and scoring that way and in the mid-range. And you saw her do that, and she had some really tough shots and did everything that she could to keep them in the game. And I've said this before, but I just don't understand people's thing about wanting to humble City Norman, because from what I've seen this year, she's been pretty respectable. Like, she hasn't been really braggadocious, I would say. So I'm just like, why does everyone want to humble City Norman so bad? Like, she's played so hard this year, and I don't know. She's like so good. She's so good. So I'm just excited to continue to watch her career because she's really electric. Did everything that she could. She needs some more help. Absolutely. But we still left with 20 points. And this is probably one of the better games she had this season because the way that they guard her every single game, she can barely get off clean looks. That's why she takes so much stuff in transition. But she still found a way to make something shake, and she got them to the Sweet 16. So I think that should count for something because a lot of other players can't say that, okay? Did not have much to work with, and she still found a way to make something shake. So City Norman's a demon regardless. And then Reagan Beers, she played 31 minutes, 14 points, 5 of 9 shooting, 0-1 from 3, 4 of 8 free throws. She had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Had some good moments. Would have liked to see her get more touches, but also they played some good defense on her at times, so I'll say that. And so Verhulst, 12 points, 5 of 13. Lord Zayavan, 8 points, 3 of 8. They didn't shoot the ball well. That's the point. And then you guys can see the scoring backcourt in this game, leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. I will say that Oklahoma shot 39% from the field, 26 of 66 to South Carolina, 34 of 67 from the field, and they were 51%. Turnovers, they had 15 turnovers for Oklahoma and 7 points off turnovers. South Carolina, 11 turnovers and 21 points off turnovers. And so, yeah, you guys can see the advanced stats. And so my overall takeaways on this one, South Carolina dominated from the jump ball like I knew that they were going to do. I knew that Oklahoma was not going to win this game and that they were going to meet their fate eventually. It just is what it is. And so I think that they play great defense. They forced Oklahoma into a lot of turnovers, made them take difficult shots. They couldn't seem to get into a rhythm. They jumped the passing lane a lot, had really good anticipation. I think that offensively, Raven controlled the pace of the game, knowing when to slow it down. They set up a lot of good plays for each other. And like I said, Raven, Tessa, Tania were huge in this game for South Carolina. South Carolina out-rebounded, and they had less turnovers, more points off turnovers. They just played more disciplined basketball, I felt. And Oklahoma is not good. City of Norman needs help. Half-court offense been bad all year. They rely too much on transition. Zone gets fried every single game. And just the same stuff that I always say. And I think that South Carolina forced them into a lot of mistakes, and then the unforced errors they capitalized off of. So yeah, we knew what was going to happen. South Carolina feasted, is what it is. They played way better. Jenny Baranczyk on fried rush. Dawn did what she needed to do. So that was the gist of that game for me. And then we had Texas taking on Kentucky in the Sweet 16. So Texas wins this one 76-54. This is one that I went to, okay? And so, again, I'll just give some overall takeaways on this game. So Madison Booker in this game, she played 32 minutes, had 17 points, 8 of 16 shooting, 0-2 from 3, 1 of 4 free throws, Lord, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, no turnover, 2 steals, and no blocks. She looks good in this game. She looked good in this game. And I'll have a couple of my favorite clips right here so you guys can see those things. And then I think that Jordan Lee had a good game. She played 37 minutes, 18 points, 8 for 13 shooting, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 3 free throws. She had 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, Lord, 3 steals, and no blocks. So she had a really good performance. And then we go on to Rory Harmon, who was lining it up. She played 29 minutes, 11 points, 5 of 10 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 0-2 from the free throw line. How you miss both? 7 rebounds, 7 assists, to only 1 turnover. She had 6 steals and no blocks. So efficient, played really hard on defense, good facilitator of the offense, like I always say. So it's a good game. And I'll put some of my favorite Rory clips right here so you guys can see them. And so I think that that's the most important things worth noting for the Texas side in this game. And then for Kentucky, Clara Strack in this game, she played 32 minutes, 16 points, 6 of 14 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 5 free throws, 5 rebounds, no assists to 2 turnovers. Lord, she had 1 steal and no blocks. I think that they did a good job limiting her and not letting her get the looks that she was trying to go for. So I'll give Texas credit for that. But I mean, she finished with a decent game. So shout out to Clara Strack because she's a demon. And Kentucky as a team did not shoot well, okay? So that's what you need to know. You see the scoring by quarter, okay? You see the leaders, points, rebounds, and assists. Also, things to note, Kentucky was 19 of 51 from the field, and they shot 37%. For Texas, they were 34 of 63 from the field, and they were 54%, okay? Kentucky shot better from 3, 5 of 15, which is still, and Texas was 3 of 9 from 3, so I wanted to note that. Kentucky, 24 turnovers and 8 points off turnovers. Texas, 16 turnovers is just too many, and 26 points off turnovers. They had no fast break points for Kentucky in this game, and Texas had 20. They got dominated by points in the paint, with Texas with 44 points in the paint, Kentucky 22. So I think that those are some things that are worth noting. Overall thoughts in this game, Texas just dominated them from the jump ball. Like I kind of had a feeling that they were going to do, forcing them into a lot of turnovers, scored in transition. I say a lot of the similar things about these games, but it's a lot of similar things in how to win the game and a lot of similar things that teams do to win the game. So I know I get repetitive, but like, yeah. And they would limit their vision with traps and double teams, so they would like pass the ball and they couldn't see and they turn it over. And I think Kentucky just had like a lot of careless passes in this game, to be honest. Like I said, limiting Clara Strack was going to be huge for this game, which they did. Ran their offense better. Madison Booker, Jordan Lee got going, Rory Harmon. Kentucky couldn't get into a rhythm. Part of that was because of Texas, and then when they had open looks, they did not capitalize. They would go on little runs, but Texas just always had an answer for them, I felt, and they couldn't really pull away. And I felt that Kenny Brooks should have put Clara in the fourth quarter early on whenever they were starting to make a run, because I think they cut it down at some point to like 10. He put her in too late. So yeah, I think that they played sloppy overall. They had a lot of careless passes that were turnovers, and also their defense wasn't good. And I think Texas just played the better game. So that's my takeaways there. UCLA and Minnesota in the Sweet 16. Another one I'll go through. So UCLA wins this game 80-56. And so the advanced stats, what you need to know, Lauren Betts had a great game again. She played 31 minutes, 16 points, 7 for 9 shooting, no threes attempted, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. She had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnover, 1 steal, and 5 blocks in this game. Lauren, I think in the beginning of the season it wasn't her best, but as the seasons went on, she just got so much better. I think she has more mobility when you have that turnaround jump shot at the rim, and then whenever she can hit some mid-ranges at times. So I think that that's been really helpful for her, and just like her conditioning's got better. So I think that she just consistently shows up for this team, offensively, defensively. The only one that I trust, she's been great in this tournament, so just shout out to Lauren Betts always, and she'll be great when it's time to go to Minnesota. And then I'm trying to just get through everyone else. Gianna Neepkins, 5 points, 2 assists, not great, okay? Hasn't been great at tournament. And then Hawk has 10 points on 4 and 9, not bad, you just needed more. Ledger Walker, 4 points on 2 of 7. Kiki Rice, 21 points on 7 of 12, okay? 6 of 6 free throws, so that was Kiki Rice's legacy game. So that's like the gist of everyone. Duke Leach gave you 13 points off the bench. And then Minnesota, tough shooting day for them. Amaya Battle was 3 of 16 from the field, so that was rough. You see the scoring by quarter. Things that you needed to know, UCLA shot better, 32 of 61 from the field, 52%. The threes weren't great, 4 of 16. The rims that I already talked about. Minnesota, 22 of 58 from the field, 38%. And then you also see UCLA out rebounded 37 to 31. They had more assists, more steals. They had less turnovers. They had 11 turnovers, 17 points off turnovers. So Minnesota's 15 turnovers and 5 points off of turnovers. Dominated with points in the paint with 52 to 22. So I think that those are things that you needed to know. Okay, I got to drink some because my throat is getting dry going through all this. But now I get into my overall thoughts in this game. And shout out to Crystal Light. So in the beginning, I feel like it was closer than it should have been. I think Minnesota played hard. They played some good defense. They were collapsing it on Lauren, making her have to take such shots, making her have to get up the ball. And I think that they were also speeding them up, so they were taking contested stuff and stuff that they didn't want to take. UCLA doesn't like to do those things. And there was a point they brought it to within 3, so they looked good. At some point in the second quarter, UCLA locked in, started playing a lot better, facilitating the ball smoother, and then the second half was really all UCLA. Minnesota went cold, defense wasn't as good. And I think that UCLA got just enough defensive stops. I still don't think that their defense is good, and Lauren carries that. Like I said before, one of the reasons why it took time for them to pull away is because they didn't shoot the 3 well. I already mentioned the issue with that. And so they haven't shot it well at home, so we'll see what happens. But that's kind of the gist of the game, and I will talk more about these teams in depth whenever we get to the Elite. There's just so much to cover and have so many thoughts. Then we go on to Michigan playing Louisville in the Sweet 16. Ultimately, Michigan wins this one 71 to 52. And another one, just talking about things you needed to know. So Silas Sword's decent game, 37 minutes played, 16 points, 6 of 14, 2 of 6 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws. You had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 turnovers. You had 1 steal and no blocks. Olsen, 33 minutes played, 19 points, 8 of 19, Lord. 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws. You had 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and 1 block. So I think that those are the main people. And then you can see all the other stats on the screen because I will have them up there. And so my overall takeaways, in the beginning, it was bad for Michigan. Couldn't seem to make anything shake. And I feel that Louisville was playing better than them, obviously, and they were getting killed on the offensive rebounding. And so somewhere in the second quarter, they finally started to figure it out. They got into a flow, and I think that that's when they started to take the lead. And then the second half just completely pulled away like they always do pretty much, and they locked in on defense. They loved to play a good zone. You saw the full court press, forcing them into a lot of turnovers. Offensively, they locked in, and they played much better. And I think that Louisville just went cold in this game. So that was the gist of that game. And then TCU and Virginia in the Sweet 16. TCU wins 79-69. What do you need to know about this game? So Olivia Miles had a masterclass. 40 minutes played, 28 points, 11 of 14 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 5 of 6 free throws. You had 10 rebounds, 8 assists to 3 turnovers, 2 steals, and no blocks. And then Suarez also had a masterclass. 40 minutes played. She had 33 points, 12 for 25 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3, 5 of 6 free throws, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. So yeah, everyone else, you really did not get much else. I'll have the stats on the screen, but yeah. And so, not my favorite to watch, So I will say that. I'll be upfront about that. Like I said, you had the legacy games from them, which helped. Everyone else didn't do much. I believe that them two, they were the most involved for the points scored or assisted on in the whole game. And so, as a team, both teams had good moments of defense, but it just got to the point where it was kind of like a shootout, in my opinion. And TCU in the second half pulled away. Virginia battled. They didn't have enough to compete offensively, and they went cold. And, they gave up all those points. So that was the gist there. And now we get on to UCLA taking on Duke in the Elite Eight. So UCLA wins this game 70-58. So on UCLA, Lauren Betts played 38 minutes, 23 points, 9 for 14 shooting, no threes attempted, 5 of 6 from the free throw line. You had 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnover, 1 steal, and 5 blocks. What Lauren Betts has been continuously able to do, like I said, won't go undernoticed and appreciated by me. So just shout out to Lauren Betts for coming through offensively like she has every single game. Defensive's huge, and then also getting some good rebounds for you. Like, Lauren Betts does so much for this team, and every single time that she goes on the bench, it's detrimental for the team. Like, they look so bad. Like, Lauren is really their anchor, and she does so much, and she doesn't get an appreciation, like I said. And then Gianna Neepkins, she played 27 minutes. She had 7 points. She was 3 of 7 from the field shooting. Lord, 1 of 4 from 3. No free throws, 1 rebound, no assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. Has not been good in the tournament. Like I said, it got to a point for me. And then we go on to Hawkes. She played 31 minutes, had 9 points, 4 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. No free throws in this one. She had 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. 1 steal and no blocks. Hasn't been bad. I just need her to have some more shot attempts, and hopefully she can get more consistent. So I wouldn't say she's been awful. And then we go into Charlize Ledger-Walker. 31 minutes played, 5 points, 2 of 3 shooting, 0-1 from 3, 1 of 2 free throws, 3 rebounds, 6 assists to 3 turnovers. She had 2 steals and no blocks. You just need more in the tournament. Then we go into Kiki Rice. 36 minutes played, 7 points, 2 for 10 shooting, 0-2 from 3, 3 of 4 free throws. You had 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, no steal, and no block. Generational choke job for Kiki Rice. And she kept trying to foul bait the whole game, and she got a couple of them, but the ball just was not going through the hoop. All those contested layups that she takes and just the bad shot selection at times, I don't enjoy to watch Kiki Rice play basketball. I'm not going to say that she's bad, but I just feel like people consistently elevate her and put her in conversations that she doesn't deserve to be in with the way that she plays. And, that's just me being real. And then off the bench, Sienna Betts gave you 4 points, so it was decent, 2 of 3 shooting. And then Dugalich had a really good game. She played 30 minutes, 15 points, 7 of 13 shooting, 0-4 from 3, 1 of 1 free throw. She had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, 2 steals, and then she had no blocks in this game. So that's how Dugalich performed. And then I want to put this picture on the screen of Lauren celebrating the trophy for winning the regional and going to the Final Four, as you should, because that's Lauren's trophy, period. So shout out to Lauren, wanted to put that there. And then we go on to Duke. So Toby Fournier, she played 27 minutes, had 10 points for you, 5 of 11 shooting, 0-1 from 3, no free throws, 4 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, no stealing, no block. She had some good moments in this game. I felt like whenever she got foul trouble, it definitely changed the momentum of the game, and she picked up some dumb fouls. I think it was like over the back, or it was a foul on the rebound. It was just some dumb stuff that she caught, and that really did change the momentum of the game. And no shade, you needed more than 10 points from your star. It's what it is. Delaney Thomas, 12 points, but she was 4 of 11. Ashton Jackson was cold, 0 points on 0-8 shooting. Mare was decent, 38 minutes played, 21 points, 8 of 16 shooting, 1 of 5 from 3, 4 of 4 free throws. She had 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2, 3 turnovers. You had 4 steals and no blocks. So she had a good game. She did what she was supposed to do. And then Nelson had a good game too. She played 37 minutes, had 13 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 0-1 from 3, 1 of 1 free throws. You had 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. She had no steals, and she had 1 block in this game. So I mean, it's decent. The bench, you got 2 points from Jordan Wood and no points for Robertson. So that's everyone for Duke in this basketball game. We look at scoring by quarter: 21-17, 18-14, 8-20, and 11-19. Ultimately, UCLA wins this game 70-58. And then we look at leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. Lauren Betts with 23 points. Lauren had 10 rebounds. Charlize Ledger-Walker with 6 assists to 3 turnover. For Duke, we had Mare with 21 points, Mare with 7 rebounds, and Mare with 6 assists to 3 turnovers. So she did it all. Advanced stats in this game: UCLA was 29 for 58 from the field, which is going to be 50%. 2 of 14 from 3. They throwing like Enrique. 14%, 10 of 13 from the free throw line, 77%, 38 total rebounds, so they dominated on rebounding, 11 offensive and 27 defensive rebounds. And then you had 16 assists, 7 steal, 5 block, 18 total turnovers, which is way too many for them. That's sloppy. 18 points off of turnovers, 8 fast break or transition points, 54 points in the paint, 12 fouls, no techs. Laudersley was 12%. That was going to be 33. Then we look at Duke. They were 24-62 from the field, 39%, 1 of 13 from 3, so didn't shoot it much better. 8%, 9-9 from the free throw line, which is going to be 100%. 26 total rebounds, 10 offensive and 16 defensive. 16 assists, 8 steal, 3 block, 13 total turnovers, 18 points off of turnovers, 6 fast break or transition points, 32 points in the paint, 15 fouls, no tech. Laudersley was 10% led. It's going to be 65 in this basketball game. Now onto my overall thoughts on this one. So in the first quarter, I thought that Duke played really well, and the Toby Fournier and the Mare two-man game was really successful, and they benefited off of the drop coverage that Lauren Betts was playing in this game, and they were hitting some nice stuff in the mid-range too. So I thought that they looked really good, and I thought that they played really good defense on Lauren in this game. They forced her to take a lot of difficult shots. They forced her to give it up. There was one play where they stripped her of the ball. So I really feel like they make Lauren work for every single shot that she got. So I wanted to say that. And I think that they also played some good zone, and they were able to rotate correctly and get some steals off of that. So I did like that as well. And they forced UCLA into a lot of turnovers, capitalized off of that in transition. UCLA didn't really shoot it well at first. And so I will say, whenever Duke had the UCLA players in foul trouble, they didn't capitalize off of it. Gianna Neepkins got in foul trouble. Jaquez, Lauren at one point with 2 fouls. Like, you should have strategically made them get more fouls so they could have fouled out of the game, or they're not able to play as much time. So that's just something that I felt like they didn't capitalize off of. So I did want to say that. Like I said, Toby got some dumb fouls, and so that really killed the momentum of the game. And I just feel like UCLA capitalized off of that. They started getting momentum. When Toby came back in the game, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because she was one of the ones who was playing good defense on Lauren Betts. So they were just able to capitalize off of that, and they really started to get into a flow that I felt. And so also I felt like Carol Lawson didn't take the timeouts at the right spots whenever they got momentum. She would wait till they would go on like a 10-0 run to take a timeout. Like, it's too late for that, okay? And so I feel like Duke would go on little runs, but they just couldn't seem to pull away again. And then I think the point that they officially lost the momentum is when Gianna Neekins hit that 3 to take the lead, and they would cut it down to 4 or 5, but they just couldn't really do enough. And so I think that is something there. And their defense was definitely worse in the second half. Maybe they got tired. That could be part of it, the fatigue. But there was that. And then UCLA was able to get enough defensive stops. Like I said, I don't think that their defense is that good. And I think that Duke started playing too rushed offensively. They kept trying to get everything back in one possession. They were taking really bad shots. And they couldn't seem to slow down. They couldn't hit any threes. This is when they were like 0-10 from 3. And they had bad shot selection. And I think that Duke got killed in rebounding and points in the paint. So that's not going to help you win the game. And all that, and UCLA pulled through, and they did what they needed to do. I still feel the same way about them that I feel before, and I think the guard play have been terrible the whole tournament, especially Gianna Neekins and Charlie Sledger-Walker. Kiki Rice choked. I don't trust her generally, and she does not like ball pressure. These things are true. Hawkes hasn't been bad. I just needed more, and so we'll see if she gets more touches. Dugalich is decent. Her numbers were better this tournament than I thought. She only had one bad game, I think, so I'll give Dugalich credit for that for sure. And I feel like there's moments where UCLA has been exposed, but the teams haven't been able to finish the job. They get too tired, and UCLA capitalizes off of that, and eventually UCLA is going to get beat because of the same stuff that I always talk about in this, and about me not being able to trust Corey Close or the guard play, and me only being able to trust Lawrence. So all those things will come back to bite. We'll see if they shoot the 3 better once they have the new rims in the Final Four, because every team has struggled with the 3, like I said before, and they rely a lot on the 3 ball, so we'll see what happens with that and everything, and I'll give a preview of the Texas game later as well. And so I did want to talk about this, but the all-tournament teams for the Sacramento 2 region, Lauren Best was most outstanding player, richly deserved. Malaysia Fulwiley made the cut. And then you had Dugalich on the list, you had Toby Fournier, and then you had Taina Mayer. So that was the entire list. Next up, we had Texas taking on Michigan in the Elite 8. So Texas wins this game 77-41. And so Texas in this game, we start off with one Madison Booker. She played 29 minutes. She had 19 points, 8 for 13 shooting, 0-3 from 3, 3 free throws, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 turnovers. She had 2 steals and no blocks. Played really well. That mid-range pull-up going to be cash every time, finishing some tough stuff at the rim as well. I will say there was this one call she got away with. She literally had an offensive foul. She did the arm bar and then she pushed off. And I literally had the clip of that, but they called that blocking and then she got free throws. I didn't understand those things, okay? So right here, I put my favorite Madison Booker clips from the game. Continue on. Justice Carlton played 25 minutes, had 15 points, 6 of 10 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 free throws, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 3 steals, and no blocks. Needed this kind of performance from Justice Carlton. I feel like it's been a while since she's got going, so it was a good game for her. And then Bria Cunningham, 16 minutes played, 11 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 0-3 from 3, 1 of 1 free throw, 7 rebound, no assist, no turnover, no steal, and 1 block. So it was a decent game. And I will say, in the beginning, they were forcing them into a lot of turnovers, and Bria Cunningham kept being wide open, and they kept spamming her the ball, and you're going to keep running the same play if it works. So she was capitalizing off of that. She was efficient. It's a good game plan. It's a good defense, too. And then Jordan Lee, it was rough. 36 minutes played, 4 points, 2 of 17 from the field shooting, Lord. 0 of 8 from 3, no free throws, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 3 turnover, 1 steal, 1 block. One of the worst performances I've seen. It just got to a point for me. It got to a point. And we'll see if the next game she improves, because I feel like generally she's been decent in the SEC tournament and the March Madness tournament, because Texas is going to need it, but did not shoot the ball well. And why did we shoot it 17 times? And then we had Rory Harmon. 30 minutes played. She had 7 points, 3 for 5 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 0-1 from the free throw line, 7 rebounds, 13 assists. Thank you. To 3 turnovers. She had 1 steal and no block. So being efficient from the field, hitting some nice shots for you. That and one she had was great. And then you had 13 assists, being able to facilitate so well. We had a steal. Like, it was good. I'll put some of my favorite Rory clips right here. But yeah, always enjoy getting to watch Rory play because she does so many great things. And Madison Booker was really fun to watch play as well because I do enjoy both of the games. So I wanted to say that. And then we go into the bench. Sidbury, 1 point, not much to talk about. And then we had Oldacre, 24 minutes played, 12 points, 4 or 5 shooting, no threes, 4 or 9 from the free throw line, 11 rebound, 1 assist, no turnover, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. So she finished with a pretty decent game. And then Crump with 3 points. I don't think she's healthy allegedly. Preston, 3 points, 0-2 shooting. Graves, 2 points, and then Judd, 0 points. So that was everyone for Texas, okay? For Michigan in this game. So starting off with Silas Swords, this was really painful for me, but she played 38 minutes, 8 points, 3 of 15 shooting. 2 of 9 from 3. No free throws, 5 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals, and no blocks. So just didn't shoot the ball well. She got hacked a couple times. I will admit those things, but she had some opportunities that she couldn't cash on. She missed some really easy layups in this game. Olivia Olson also choked. She played 35 minutes, 11 points. She was 2 of 13. 0-4 from 3, 7-7 free throws, 4 rebound, no assists, 4 turnovers. She had 1 steal and no block, so not great. And then Sofakanik, 2 points, 5 rebound, 2 turnover. You really didn't get much from Sofakanik, and you needed more in the post. I don't know what she was doing the whole game when she did play. And then Holloway, 27 minutes played, 11 points. She was 4 of 14. 0-2 from 3, 3 free throws, 3 rebounds, 2 assists to 4 turnovers, 1 steal and no blocks. So just didn't play well. Quarles Daniels, 26 minutes played. She had 4 points, 2 of 4 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 6 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 2 steals and no blocks. And then off the bench, Del Foss gave you 2 points, Dudley 3 points on 1 of 7, Crockett you had 0 points. So that was their bench. And then advanced statistics. First quarter, 9-22, 12-12, 8-21, 12-22. Ultimately, Texas wins 77-41. And then leaders in points, rebounds, and assists. Madison Booker had 19 points in this game. And then Oldacre with 11 rebound. And Roy Harmon with 13 assists, 3 turnovers. And then for Michigan, Olsen with 11 points. Lord, Gorlstein with 6 rebound. And Holloway with 2 assists to 4 turnovers. That's just a terrible ratio. And then we look at advanced metrics. Texas from the field, 30 of 64, which is going to be 47%. 3 of 19 from 3, 16%. 14 of 22 from the free throw line, 64%. 49 total rebounds, so they killed on the rebounding for sure. 17 offensive and 32 defensive rebounds. 21 assists, 11 steal, 5 block, 14 total turnovers, which is way too many for Texas and very sloppy. 19 points off of turnovers, 10 fast breaker transition points, 36 points in the paint, 16 fouls, no techs. Largest lead was 40, percent led was 98. And then for Michigan, 13 of 57 from the field, 23%, 2 of 15 from the three-point line, 13%, 13 of 14 from the free throw line, which is going to be 93%, 32 total rebounds, 11 offensive and 21 defensive, 5 assists, 7 steal, 2 block, 15 total turnovers, 11 points off of turnovers, 19 fast breaker transition points, 18 points in the paint, 18 fouls, no techs. The largest lead was 0%, led was going to be 0. So overall takeaways, I was so excited to see this game in person. Y'all don't understand. This is something that I really wanted to see in the regular season, like early on after like we played Michigan and how Texas was playing with the UCLA game and stuff. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be a good game. So disappointed. Texas basically got off to a hot start in the beginning off that jump ball and never looked back. I mean, they forced them into a lot of turnovers. They capitalized, the same stuff I've been saying. And I think that Michigan did not shoot the ball well when they had opportunities. And their defense was terrible the entire game. They had no rim protection. That's why they kept spamming the same play with Bria Cunningham because they knew she was going to be open every single time. So their defense in the post, absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Did not like that. And they just usually put a lot more pressure defensively. So I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know what, but their defense couldn't even hold a candle to Texas. And they had their moments, but yeah, their defense wasn't that good. And they couldn't stop Madison Booker. They couldn't stop Justice Carlton as well. Rory had a decent game, 13 assists. Like, just no pressure for the most of the game. I think that the refs let Texas play pretty physical. There was definitely some stuff that they got away with, some pushing and shoving and things like that I don't like. I feel like Michigan didn't really match that physicality, but yeah, the refs definitely let them play physical, and they hacked Michigan a lot of the time, so I will say that. And Texas defense was decent. I think that they've had better defensive games, to be honest. I think that Texas has deep tournament experience, and they show that. Michigan is a younger team, and you could tell that they didn't have enough experience. The stage was kind of too big for them. And I think that Michigan had a generational choke job. I said in my preview, if Michigan was going to win this game, it was going to be on their guards. So Silas Swords and Olivia Olson, and they both choked. So, I mean, that's what happened there when you go 3 of 15 and 2 of 13 from the field. They couldn't get to an offensive rhythm, and part of that was because of Texas. And then when they had opportunities, they turned the ball over. They take bad shots, and they couldn't capitalize off Texas mistakes. They got killed on the rebounds, like I told you guys. And so, yeah, it was just bad. I think that in the beginning, Texas made them play bad. And then I thought that in the second half, Michigan was going to lock in because that's what they do every single big game, okay? They go on a run in the second half. They cut it to 3 with a big silent 3, and then she misses. Like, that's what always happens in the big games, if you notice. And so it just never happened. It felt like at a certain point, they kind of just gave up, and they might have got tired. But yeah. And I just feel like with this game, people are putting Texas in a different echelon than they deserve to be in. You guys know I'm a UConn fan. Okay, and I do enjoy Texas though. They're my second favorite team. I watched a lot of Texas games, so I'm familiar with how they've looked, their strengths, their weaknesses, and all those other things. I feel pretty comfortable with it at this point. But I just feel like we're not talking enough about how Michigan choked this game away when they had open looks. Like I said, part of that was Texas, and part of that was Michigan just not shooting the ball well. When they went, what is it called from the field again? They went 13 of 57. Okay, like that all was in Texas. That all was in Texas. And so, yeah, in the beginning, they forced them to play bad, like I said. And then at a certain point, it's like they were just playing terrible, and Texas capitalized off of that. And so I feel like we had to keep everything into perspective with the choke job that they had, because this was an all-time choke job. And then, plus, like I said, they were allowed to play physical, so I think that that's something there. They ran their offense better, I think. And I think that Texas is a good team, but I feel like their path to the tournament, they haven't really had to face a whole lot of adversity and really be with teams that are on the level. They might have struggled a little bit early in the games, but them and the teams that they're competing with, like, they had an easier path than I thought. I thought that Michigan was going to put up way more of a fight than they didn't. And so with this performance, people are going to be like, oh, they're definitely going to win it all, and I just feel like it's been misleading with the competitors that they have been facing off with. And I just feel like they haven't really put real defensive pressure on them for a whole game, anybody that they faced. And so I think that multiple things can be true, that they're a good team. I just don't think that people are realizing some of the things. And I feel like it's all going to come back to bite. I feel like their cracks have shown in parts, but it's just the competitors that they faced again. But, that's my opinions on the game. I didn't love it. So Michigan, I don't even know what that was. And then the all-tournament team for this game, Madison Booker, most outstanding player deserved. You also had Roy Harmon and Jordan Lee joining the party. And then for Michigan, you had Silas Swords and Livy Olsen. So that was the Fort Worth 3 region all-tournament teams. And then we go on to South Carolina taking on TCU in the Elite Eight. Ultimately, South Carolina wins 78-52. And so, in this game, Joyce Edwards played great. She had 33 minutes played, 24 points, 10 for 20 shooting, no threes, 4 free throws, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnover, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. So, just did what she needed to do, finishing at the rim. You saw her hit a couple mid-ranges in this game as well. So, she was efficient. She had good moments on defense. She had good rebounding. So, it's a good game for Joyce Edwards doing what she needed to do. Medina Okot played 19 minutes, 6 points. She was 3 of 5 shooting, no threes, no free throws, 6 rebounds. She had no assists to 4 turnovers. Lord, I don't like those things. No steal and 2 blocks. So overall, I thought it was decent, but the turnovers is backbreaking. Then we had Tessa Johnson. She played 24 minutes, 11 points, 4 of 7 shooting, 3 of 3 from 3, no free throws, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, 1 steal, and no blocks. Okay. In the beginning of this game, did not play well, and she had some opportunities that she got blocked with, and also they scouted her, and they made sure that they had somebody staying with her the entire time. And I feel like a lot of times when she's getting her looks off, she's always wide open because nobody bothers to scout her when she's 45% from 3, which makes no sense. And so they did at this time, and they gave her respect. And then in the fourth quarter, they kind of sagged off her, and so she hit some stuff in the fourth. So I'll give her credit for that because it's always fun to watch her hit threes, but most of it was in garbage time, no shade. And then we go on to Tanai Latson. She played 23 minutes, 3 points, 1 of 5 shooting, no threes, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. She had 1 rebound, 3 assists, no turnover, no steal, and no block. Did not play well. Then we go on to Raven Johnson. 31 minutes played, 10 points, 4 of 12 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3, no free throws, 8 rebounds, 6 assists to 1 turnover. She had 1 steal and no blocks. Didn't shoot the ball well, but she found other ways to be impactful. She got herself to 10 points. She got some assists. She got some rebounds. So I'll give her credit for those things, and she plays good defense. And then we look at the bench. Turnabees gave you 2 points, Dowda 2 points. McKee had a really good game. This is one of her best games of the season. 31 minutes played, 18 points, 8 of 14 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnover, 3 steals, and no blocks. So she looks really good. So definitely want to give her credit. She's been huge for them off the bench. McDowell 0 points, and then McDaniel 2 points. So that's everybody for South Carolina. And now we go on to TCU in this game. So Olivia Miles, she played 35 minutes, 18 points, 6 for 20 shooting, 3 of 6 from 3, 3 of 4 free throws, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnover, 2 steal, and no blocks. This choke job, I knew her choke job was coming for one, and Raven was on her, and Raven played some good defense on her at parts, and I also think part of it was just Olivia having dumb shot selection whenever she could get free, and she air met a few layups as well. And so, yeah, at a point, it just... she started off well, if I'm remembering correctly, actually. I think it was when she got to, 14 or whatever. She was shooting it well, and then she just, I don't even know. So, yeah, didn't shoot the ball great. Defensive liability, like I always say. And we had 4 turnovers and stuff. There was a point she got hurt in this game, and I'm glad she's okay. But, yeah, she just did not play well in this game. We continue on to Suarez. 37 minutes played, 9 points, 4 of 17 shooting, 1 of 8 from 3. No free throws, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover. She had 2 steals and 1 block. Didn't play well either. 4 of 17 is egregious. Silva, she had 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting. Should have had more touches, okay. Hunter, 9 points on 4 of 7 shooting. Had some good moments. Big B, she had 10 points on 4 of 10 shooting. In the bench, you really got nothing from the bench. So you guys can see that 4 points from Basham. And then we look at the scoring by quarter. 14 to 16, 13 to 19, 14 to 14, and 11 to 29. And so South Carolina wins 78 to 52. And so we look at leaders for points, rebounds, and assists. Joyce with 24 points. She had 12 rebounds, and Raven with 6 assists to 1 turnover. Olivia Miles with 18 points, Suarez with 5 rebounds, and Olivia Miles with 6 assists to 4 turnovers, Lord. And then we go on to the advanced statistics. So South Carolina was 33 of 70 from the field in this game, which is going to be 47%. 6 of 9 from 3, 6-7, 6 of 8 from the free throw line, 75%. 52 total rebounds. They killed TCU on the boards. 22 offensive rebounds and 30 defensive rebounds. 21 assists, 6 steals, 5 blocks, 14 turnovers, which is too many for them. Okay, they have more turnovers than TCU. 12 points off turnovers, 5 fast break transition points, 46 points in the paint, 6 fouls, no techs, lot of steals 26%, level 68. For TCU in this game, 21 to 63 from the field, which is going to be 33%. 7 to 21 from 3, 33%. 3 to 4 from the free throw line, 75%. 24 total rebounds, 10 offensive, 14 defensive. 10 assists, 8 steals, 7 blocks. 10 turnovers, 14 points off of turnovers, 2 fast break transition points. Only 2 points is insane. 28 points in the paint, 13 fouls, no techs. Largely was 8%. Lead was going to be 24. Now on to my overall takeaways and thoughts on this game. It didn't look how I thought it was going to. I really thought that South Carolina was just going to obliterate them from a jump ball, and it didn't look that way. And so in the beginning, I thought that TCU was playing really good defense on them, to be fair, and they forced them to take stuff they didn't want to take, and their offense was really good. South Carolina couldn't stop them. And then Dawn made a really good adjustment. She decided to go big, and I think that that was really effective with contesting the shots, and their length really bothered TCU, and then they weren't able to get into the paint because they had a lot of success in the paint. And then they had a really good defense on Tessa, like I said, and I think that it was close for the first 3 quarters, and then I think at some point in the 3rd quarter, South Carolina started to pull away. It was in like 4 or 5, and then in the 4th quarter, they just completely swung the momentum in their favor. They started hitting everything. TCU went cold from the field, and they couldn't really defend them at all. And then Olivia Miles choked. Suarez was bad. Their defense wasn't good. I felt the coach should have taken timeouts earlier than he did because you could feel the momentum switching. Tessa great in the 4th. For South Carolina, the defense was fine. I think they've had better defensive games, to be honest. They gave us some stuff that they shouldn't have. I think that their offense started to look like themselves in the 4th quarter. And Joyce, Okot, McKeer played really well. Raven didn't have a great game shooting the ball, found a way to be impactful. Same thing for Latson. And then all-tournament team. So Raven Johnson was the most outstanding player. I'm kind of surprised because I thought that that would have went to Joyce, but then you look at their stats and like you could have went either way. So Raven was the most outstanding player, and then Joyce was on the team as well, McKeer, and then Suarez and Olivia Miles for TCU. And now, really quickly, wanted to talk about my March Madness experience. And so, like I said, went to all the Fort Worth games, and I had such a great time. I just enjoyed the game of women's basketball so much and what it's given to me in this community that I built with you guys. And so, to get to go out and get to support these ladies, it was so much fun, and getting to watch the games in person. Stuff that you see in person that they don't show you on TV. So, just like getting to see the shoot-arounds and them warming up and like the behind-the-scenes, the production, the cameras, all those things are really cool. And so, I really did enjoy that, and it was cool for my grandma to get to go to the UConn game, like I said, and she enjoyed herself. I had great seats. Like, I was in section 121, I believe, row 5, so that's where my seats are, if you guys were curious as well. And like I said, I got a pack, so I paid a price, and then I got tickets for all the games, and I went and I got my money's worth. And I will say that the attendance was kind of disappointing. I saw people talking about this on social, and I think it's just what Gino said about not having the 4 regions thing with 2 regions. Like, I'm lucky because I live like 15 minutes away from Fort Worth, so I was able to get there and back, but not everybody can, and like these other games I'm not going to be able to go to, so had to take the opportunity and go to the game, but not everyone is as fortunate. And I think that the Texas games, the turnout was better because it's in Texas. A lot of Texas fans were here. I think that that was better, but I just had so much fun, like getting to meet new people, have conversations, walk around, seeing everything, buying merch. I got a strawberry shortcake that was really good. I got a funnel cake that was really good. And so yeah, like on the screen, like I'll have some pictures that I took, just me at the games, me with my shoes, all the other stuff, kind of just me taking in the moment, me celebrating it. So I did want to show those things for one. And then for 2, I am going to put some videos after I'm done talking here, just some cool stuff that I saw. Like they had cameras on the top of the backboard, so I thought that it was cool seeing that move around, seeing where all the cameras were, how the game is filmed. It was just an amazing experience. Like I wish I could go to basketball games every single time and live in this experience, and I just want to keep working hard with my videos and, you know, trying to open up other opportunities for myself so I can do more things like this. But I just had a really good time, so I just wanted to take a second to appreciate that and people for putting on such a great production for March Madness and the hard work that goes into it. The players are under a lot of pressure to perform and do their thing. The coaching, there was just so much to enjoy. Like the environment, the atmosphere, just makes me want to go to even more basketball games. So I'm just glad I was able to make something shaken to ultimately end up going. I had to take a sip because I got so much to talk about. But now we here. I'm going to be previewing the Final Four, and we're talking about UConn and South Carolina first. We'll have the promo that they did for it. I think that it's cool. So there is just so much to talk about with this game and things that are going to be beneficial for us and scheme and all those things. So I'm just really excited to talk about it. I've been itching to talk about it this whole episode, and now we are finally here. Okay. And so here's what I think that they're going to do. So with the defensive assignments, I think that Raven is going to be on AZ. It's pretty obvious. She was on page in the previous matchups. AZ, you could argue, is the best player, at the very least top 2. So of course she's going to be on AZ. Follow her around the whole game. Also, like with the size, I think Raven's 5'9", AZ's like 5'11". So I think that she's going to be following her around. I think that Raven is a solid defender for what it's worth. So I'm sure she'll be able to get some stops and stuff, but also azzifudd is azzifudd, so I'm sure that azzifudd is going to be able to do a lot of good stuff too. And I'm sure that there'll be switches and stuff like that as well. Like you could maybe see Latson on her at times, maybe Tess on her at times. I think that she'll capitalize off of those mismatches, but I think that the main defensive assignment for Raven is going to be AZ, which I understand. And so I'm sure that they're heavily scouting her, and they're going to do a lot of similar things that we saw with trying to deny her the ball and hedging the screens and just like a lot of ball pressure and stuff. So I can definitely see those things happening. And then I think that AZ is going to be guarding Tessa because, like I said, nobody scouts Tessa. And every single time that Tessa plays us, she does not play well because we scout her. We follow her in the whole game. We don't let her get open. So I think that she's going to be on Tessa a lot. Latson, maybe Raven occasionally, okay? And then also, she might be on a post because Gino's not serious. Because, like I said, her guarding Cassandra Prosper in that Notre Dame game, like, he wasn't serious. So maybe she'll guard the post a little bit. I don't know. But I would expect her to kind of have a rotation. And maybe they will also play defense on her. But that's what I would expect for that matchup as well. And then I think that KK is going to be guarding Raven in this game. And so that's going to be vice versa. Like, I think she'll guard KK at times and try to pick her pocket and get some steals. And so the thing with KK, making sure that she doesn't get in foul trouble for 1. And then for 2, making sure that you limit Raven's shots. Because in these games, Raven's hitting a lot of wide open shots. So you just, like, can't let her get open. I think she struggles more with contested shots. And, like, most players would, to be fair. And so I think that you just can't leave her open. And just putting a lot of ball pressure on her. So I think that that is what KK needs to do, and just get her out of rhythm, not let her get to the sets that she wants to get to. Like I said, Raven will probably guard her at times, but I think most of it's going to be on AZ in this game. And then I would guess that you would put Ashlyn Shade on Tanai Latson, or maybe you could have her do a double team with AZ on like Raven or whatever, or like Tessa or things like that. But that's what I would guess her assignment would be.
Also, something that's worth noting for Tanai Latson specifically is that she likes to do a lot of driving. So we're going to have answers at the rim to block her shots with Sarah Strong, and you have Jana, you have Sarah Williams, and Blanca at times. So we'll have answers to block the shots, or at the very least contest the shots at the rims. And she's going to foul bait a lot. But I think we just have enough with the post and also with the guards to force her into a lot of jump shots and threes, which she can take and she can make at times, but she doesn't like to do those things. She likes to drive to the basket a lot. So I think that we'll have an answer with Tanai Latson, and there'll be some switches, of course. In general, with all these players and stuff, and help side defense, all those things, of course, come into play, and just great anticipation for those things. And I will say, I think that UConn has the best defense. I'm sorry, like, just the amount of turnovers that we're able to force per game, scoring off of that in transition, great help side defense and anticipation for those things, speeding up the other team that we're playing, and kind of just like controlling the game defensively and making them play how we want to play, I think is going to be huge. And just the great conditioning and how relentless that we are and how long that we can keep that up, I think is going to be huge. So I think that we have the best defense. South Carolina plays great defense, and they do play really hard. I think that our team just, I would say, like, more IQ on defense and more connected on a string on defense, I would say. But South Carolina has a great defense too, but I think our defense is better than South Carolina.
And then I think that Sarah's going to be on Joyce and vice versa. And so one thing that's crucial, you have to make Joyce post up. One thing that I noticed watching these games is Joyce doesn't like to post up. she can do it and she will do it at times, but she likes to do a lot of the face-up game, and so you just can't give her a whole lot of space to get her shots off, and you have to make her post up. She doesn't like whenever she gets played physical and just force her to take a lot of bad shots and contest all of her shots. I feel like whenever TCU played her, they just kind of let her get off her shots and they didn't really make her work for a whole lot of it, and I forgot to say that, but I don't think that we'll have that problem. I think last year against us, she didn't play well, and some people might be saying last year is last year, this year is this year, and that's fair, but Sarah's a great defensive player as well, and I think that she knows like how to guard her and all that stuff, so I think that Sarah Strong's mainly going to be on her. I think that we could see Sarah Williams on her at times, and then we could also see Jan on her at times. So I think that that's something there that I did want to say. And also, he needs to play Sarah more in the post in this game. He'd be having her play in the perimeter too much. She has to play in the post. So I would assume that she's going to be following Joyce around this whole game, and you need to do that. You cannot leave her open. Like I said before, Joyce is a choke artist in big games, and the South Carolina fans disagree with me, but I've seen it multiple times this season. So I just feel like in big games, like, she just does too much. She takes dumb shots. She looks like a deer in headlights, and then when you have Sarah's defensive pressure on her, I think that, you know, that's going to be good for us. That's going to be good for us. So I'll put it that way, and I feel like Sarah's defense has only improved this year, and like I said, with Sarah Williams and Jana as well, like, we have enough in the post to really defend her, and we're just not going to let her get to what she wants to get to with her spots, with her shots. So I can see that there.
I forgot to go into more detail about what them defending Sarah would look like. Like I said, I would guess Joyce is primarily going to be on her, but I wouldn't be surprised that some switches with Medina Okot or Medina Okot coming over to help, or like Makir, just using a lot of size on her, obviously in double teams of that nature, because Sarah Strong is really hard to stop in the post. And so something similar, like I said to AZ, like, she's going to find a way to make something shake. Like, obviously they're going to contest her shots, make it hard, and they'll get some stops, but Sarah will find a way to score the basketball. And Sarah and AZ, what's great about them is they're 3-level scorers. So being able to score in the post, and just how many counters she has for that, she's been using the jab step. She has a really solid mid-range, same thing with AZ, and the 3-ball is there, having the opportunities to get to the free throw line, capitalizing off of that, and they will figure out the defense eventually, finding ways to score. Gino gotta get more plays for them and make adjustments, but they will figure it out. So that's how I see them guarding Sarah, just trying to make it as hard as possible. When you have players that are so great like Sarah and AZ, they're really hard to stop, so you can kind of only just slow them down. So that's what I would anticipate happening with Sarah and how they would guard her in this game.
And then I think that Sarah Williams is probably going to mainly be on Medina Okot this game, and she's really good with her defense as well, and really good at rim protection, so I could see that. And like I said, I'm sure that there'll be some switches, and you could see some Jana in there as well. And then I think when Blanca comes in the game, they might try to have like a post player guard her, like maybe it's Okot, maybe it's going to be Joyce at times, but also like you can't let off of Sarah. Like, Sarah's really unstoppable in the post, so like maybe they could do that. Maybe they could have Makir guard her, but like, I don't know, it kind of feels like they don't really have an answer for Blanca, so we'll see what they kind of do with that. But I think that that will be interesting because Blanca doesn't start, so I feel like it's kind of hard to scout her because you don't know when he's going to put her in the game and all those other things. And she said coming on the bench, it's like you had that advantage if you get to see how the other team plays, and she takes advantage off of that. And so I think it'll kind of be unpredictable with that. And I don't know how many minutes that Jana will get, but like I said, her a lot in the post with the defense. So hopefully she doesn't get in foul trouble when she does play, but I hope she gets more minutes.
I can't remember if I said this in my initial analysis, but I will say that it's extremely important for Jana to have more minutes. And one of the biggest reasons for that is her rebounding. It's so key, especially with Medina Okot. She grabs a lot of rebounds. And AZ even mentioned this, how second chance points are really important, and offensive and defensive rebounds, just giving your team opportunities for more possessions. So I think her rebounding is going to be key. She sets really good screens, and then she can be good on defense too, and then it's just also going to be more helpful for our post players and the size that they're going to be able to play us with. So I think that's why it's really important that Jana gets more minutes in this game.
And I will say I'm really excited for this matchup because I wanted it in the regular season. Dawn ducked us in the regular season, and now we're here, and it kind of sucks we didn't play in the regular season because we don't have any reference for what this game's going to look like, but also that's kind of why it's exciting because we haven't played each other yet. And so I think that we have an answer for everyone on South Carolina's roster, and they don't necessarily have an answer for everyone on our roster. And I think that the closest that they've gotten is Texas, and also they lost to Texas twice, so that's something there. And I think that we're a better team than Texas, offensively, defensively. We got Sarah, we got AZ, we got Blanca. Okay, so I don't know, I don't feel like they have as many answers as us on both sides. I definitely have my concerns about our half-court offense this year for sure, and so I'm really gonna need KK and K9 to lock in and not turn over the ball and facilitate well. And if it gets to a point where KK's not playing well, I'm gonna need him to bench her like he did for like a Tennessee game, for example. We gotta win the game. Just do your job, facilitate, don't try to do too much, and just make good reads. Like, that's all I'm asking for. Just manage the game. Don't try to do too much. Take the shot whenever it's the best decision, and all that stuff. I just hope that AZ doesn't have to take over and facilitate in this game again, because AZ can facilitate well, but that's not her job. That's not her job. We need AZ the shooter. We need AZ the shooter. So then it's just taking AZ away from what she's supposed to do. And like I said, I'm sure that they're going to pressure her on the ball a lot anyways. So yeah, there's that. Forgot to write this down, but obviously, again, I would like to see AZ have more catch and shoot 3 opportunities, running more plays for her, so hopefully we get that. And so I think that we do a great job at putting a lot of defensive pressure on teams. We have really good man defense. We can switch pretty well. We force a lot of turnovers, scoring in transition, hedging the screen, great help side defense, and great man defense. So I think that those things are going to be really beneficial in our favor in this game. And I think that also we have a better bench whenever we have Blanca and K9 and Jana. So that's going to give some opportunities for our starters to have some rest and for them to be more juiced up. In South Carolina, I feel like McKeer is really the only one on the bench who's giving you some solid production. Because outside of that, you have Miriam Dowder and McDowell and McDaniel, Tornabees. You don't have much on the bench. So her starters are going to be playing a lot of times. So I think that our bench is just going to be something that's really beneficial in being able to score the basketball and do other things, and then for the starters to get rest. So I think that is something that is really important. They need a way of better conditioning in general. So I think that they're going to get tired quicker than we are with their starters playing so many minutes. And so I'm expecting them to throw some zone at us. And they played some really great zone in the Tennessee game. And I will say that they play a better zone than us. So I'll give them some credit for that. But AZ is somebody who thrives off a zone. So getting AZ a lot of looks is going to be crucial. And I'm sure that Gino will with what this game is going to mean. And then Sarah and Blanca, we have 3-point shooters. And like I said, the rim issue should be fixed. And they should be playing at the Phoenix Sun Arena. So I'm expecting our threes to be a lot better than they have been. And, they got there early. So I'm sure extra time to, play around with it and just shoot around and all those other things. So I think that that's going to be beneficial. And I think that South Carolina can be decent from 3 depending on the game, but I think that we're a better 3-point shooting team consistently and all that. So I think that that's going to be helpful. And with the zone in general, I feel like there's moments in the season where we struggle with it. I think that we've gotten better than we have been and stuff. But when you see AZ continually fry the zone, that's going to force them to switch back to their man defense. And I just feel like we have a lot of answers for that. So I'll put it that way. So I wanted to say that. And I'm sure that they're going to do everything in their power to take AZ and Sarah out of the game. Stuff that we've already seen with the traps, the double teams, a lot of ball pressure, hedging the screens, everything that I've already said. So I think that that is definitely going to come into play this game. And so, like I said, Gino getting them involved early, setting plays for them, setting the tone, other players setting screens, finding ways to get them open, and also scoring whenever their number is called. And so I think that in this game, you might see them focus too much on AZ at times, and so that's going to leave Sarah open. You might see them focus too much on Sarah sometimes, and that's going to leave AZ open, or both, and then that leaves Blanca open. And I need Ashton Shade and I need KK Arnold to show me something because they've been terrible in the tournament. And now that the moment matters most, I need them to come through for me. So I think that those things are really important. And I think that it's just important in general that UConn plays a sharper game than we have previously. I had my issues with the turnovers, with the half-court offense. So I think that having to get those things together more, and also it's really important that against a team like South Carolina, getting off to a hot start, being able to maintain that. And I just feel confident in this team for a myriad of reasons. And one of them is I just feel like every single time our back has been up against the wall that we have responded. And I think that, like my friend said, we've played to the level of our competition. So I feel pretty confident.
Something I feel like people don't talk about a whole lot is just how much grit that this team has in finding a way to win games in a variety of circumstances, right? And so we talk a lot about the 3-ball as I have in this episode, right? But there's been multiple games this year where the 3-ball was in hell and still finding a way to win. You look at some of the tournament games, especially those last 2 games, not hot from 3. One of the games was 4 of 20 from 3, and still finding a way to win, still finding a way to get in the paint and score, and also in the mid-range, and just having good things with that, getting ourselves to the free throw line at times. And I'm sure that they're going to try to clog the paint, and we're going to try to do that to them as well. But this whole notion that if we don't shoot the 3 well, we're cooked, I just don't think that is necessarily true because it's happened multiple times and we still found a way to win. And also last year in the national championship game, we made 3 threes and we won, 82-59. So I think that there's definitely a way to win even if we don't shoot the 3-ball well. Also, there's been other games we've dealt with a lot of physicality, like the Notre Dame game, for example, and it's doing a good job of matching it and being aggressive offensively and defensively. So I think that that is something huge. Games where we had a big lead and almost choked it away, you look at the Michigan game, we were up by 20 and a half time, almost choked it away, won up by 3 because of AZ. Also with AZ specifically, 2 things to add. I'm never gonna forget her performance against Michigan whenever she had 31 points and 7 threes. That was just such a huge performance, putting the team on her back. And what did she have in the fourth quarter? It was 9 straight points or something like that, but she was huge in the fourth quarter in that game. The Tennessee game, she came up huge as well. She had 25, 27, and then her facilitating in the second half was a huge thing that broke that game open. The Iowa game, when she turned it around for herself the second half. I think she had 27. Like, AZ is a big game performer. She's someone who can get hot and instantly change the landscape of the game. And just her experience, everything that she's been through, her maturity, I think that that's going to be something huge, just along with the team's mentality and maturity and taking every single game seriously and how badly that they want it for her. So just appreciating AZ and what she brings to this team, of course. So I definitely want to add that in because I can never forget those things. A Tennessee game, the struggles we've had, there's been some Big East games where it kind of like struggled, and just the moments where it's like we didn't pull away until like the second half, like the third quarter, the fourth quarter, and just finding a way to win without that. Even whenever Sarah and AZ didn't have their best game in the start, like the second half, turning it around for themselves, other people stepping up. Also, like if it needs to be a shootout, like score a lot of points, that's definitely something we're capable as well. And just times in games where we've struggled with scoring, but just getting stops time after time on the defensive end and finding a way to get ourselves back in the game and letting the opponent's going to be huge. So I just think with the different circumstances this team has been in, there's no way that they can't win. They will find a way to win, and just the maturity and how they take these matchups very seriously is only going to be beneficial for UConn. There's multiple ways to win a game.
And I'm just expecting AZ, Sarah, and Blanca to come through. AZ and Sarah specifically have been so consistent the whole regular season. Every single time that their number has been called on, they'll deliver. And I think just with knowing the stakes, they're not going to let us lose the game. They're not. They're going to do whatever it takes. And, you know, that leads me to this. So Sarah had this one quote that I love. She said, I want my team to win. I want to win, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And just watching this clip, just like the glimmer in her eye, the confidence that she said it with, it was like, I know something that you don't. And I think that Sarah's been great in this tournament so far, but it's also like the best is yet to come. And I just feel like this entire year, just like her coming into her own as a leader, her confidence in that one clip in the game that you guys saw earlier, whenever she got those two blocks back to back and she was clapping, just her talking to her teammates, leading huddles, and just energizing everyone. I feel like this is a Sarah that I haven't quite seen before. And like we've seen like small glimpses, but just in this, it's just a different kind of confidence and energy level that she's playing with. And so I'm just super excited to see what she does for the rest of the tournament. But yeah, I love to see these things from Sarah, and this just gave me chills. Like there was so much aura that she had with this clip. So I truly believe that Sarah and AZ are not going to let us lose this game, whatever it takes for them to win. I really think that they're going to go all out because this is a win or go home type situation. This is the Final Four, and AZ loves herself a Final Four. We are due for a masterclass. She plays well against South Carolina, so I just can't wait to see them do their thing. And Blanca's been cashed this tournament, okay? So I think that she's really going to be benefiting off of their gravity for one, and then she's just fearless. So I think that that's something that I wanted to state. And I think that South Carolina is definitely a formidable opponent for sure, and that UConn is not going to take that lightly, and they're going to be heavy on their scout and knowing exactly what they needed to do. And they did come in a day before, so they got extra time to rest and practice and start working on everything. So I think that that's going to be an advantage for them. And I will say, I don't know why some of the South Carolina fans act like this is going to be a cakewalk, like it's going to be an easy game. Y'all have not played a team like us all season. Like I said, the closest y'all got was Texas, and I lost to them twice. Y'all have not played us this year. We have not lost this year. I feel like a lot of people are doubting UConn this year. We have not lost a game. So I just feel like some people are not putting enough respect on UConn's name. And I get like fans are going to be fans, but some of y'all acting like this is going to be an easy game for y'all, and it's not going to be an easy game, okay? You have not seen a defense like ours, and offensively the firepower that we have. It's not the same. It's not the same. So I don't know why people are saying stuff like that, because I've seen so much stuff like that on social media. So I really can't wait for the game. I will say that. And so I think that we have a better team overall. I think that Gino's a better coach than Dawn. I think that he can out-coach her and make better adjustments, but I think Dawn is a great coach, obviously. And so I think that, like I said, South Carolina's injuries that they've dealt with before the season, with Chloe Kitts being out and Ashton Watkins being out, like, you're going to feel that. And I feel like Dawn has done a hell of a job coaching them through that, and they've still been a really good team, but eventually that's going to come back to bite, and I kind of feel like that's going to be one of the things that you notice in this game. So I think UConn's going to win this game by about 10 points, I would say, probably like an 85 to 75 type situation. So that's what I see it coming down to. We are due for a great team game with how the last games have went, and then also the Syracuse game was so good. So I'm just hoping that we can tap into that, but it might be an ugly game. We'll see how it goes, and that's just the thing with every game. Every game is a new game. So even if you didn't shoot great the last game, the next game is the next game. And so just like, I'm sure that they have that kind of mentality, just taking it one game at a time, focusing on our scout and everything. But I truly think UConn will find a way to win this game, whatever it looks like. If it's an ugly game, if it's score more points, just whatever the dirty work is, just how hard that they fight, how well that they're coached, how conditioned they are, how prepared for these moments. I truly believe that UConn will win this game. Like I said, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I believe that UConn comes out victorious in this matchup. So there's something there. Also, I feel like South Carolina, they literally sleepwalked their way to the Final Four. Like, if you look at their path and their bracket, they had an easy bracket. I feel like we are used to dealing with a lot more physicality with the teams played. So I feel like whatever physicality South Carolina plays us with, like, we're already used to those things. And in South Carolina's bracket, whenever you have Iowa as the 2 seed, like, nobody wants to talk about that. So, like I said, they haven't seen us before. They haven't seen us before this entire season. They've seen other teams, but there's other teams, and then there's UConn. Like, I truly, truly, truly believe that. And so that's my takeaways. I think that there's a lot that goes into it, offensively, defensively, the game planning, and how the teams will play ultimately in the coaching, and I'm just excited to see how it plays out. They might have some new plays that we haven't seen before by both teams, how the teams make adjustments at halftime, so it's going to be a really riveting game to watch and probably really stressful. UConn winning the game, so that's my whole kind of scouting report, and so I'm proud of it. So that's my kind of takeaways there. And now we have a Final Four preview with Texas and UCLA. So there's something there. No shit, I felt like the UConn graphic was better. So right out the gate, I had to tell you, I didn't have a score prediction for this one because this one could go either way. In the moment in my bracket, I picked UCLA to win this game, but Texas could win this game because they did beat them in the regular season, and that's something important and worth noting. And so I feel like the way that they did win is by taking Lauren Betts out of the game. They were denying the ball, they were getting in front of her, they were turning it over, and then they were also forcing her to have to take contested shots as well. So I feel like Vic is probably going to have a similar game plan to what he had the last time with the defense, with like Brea Cunningham and Sid Berry and Oldacre guarding her, so I would expect him to do that again. I will say that Lauren at the beginning of the season, she wasn't playing at her best, and I think that she's just playing a really high level of basketball right now. Like I said, with the turnaround jumper, with the mid-range that she's able to do more consistently, and just how mobile that she is. So I think that that's something that's going to be beneficial, but I just think that they're going to make her work hard for every single bucket that she gets, because that's how you stop UCLA, is you stop Lauren, because she's their main offensive weapon in this. You know, if you watch all the games, those are things that you know. And so I think it'll be really interesting, but I expect him to do something similar to what he did the first time. And then I think that Rory's going to be on Kiki Rice again, like she was, pressuring her on the ball, forcing her to have to give it up, having to take tough shots. I think Kiki Rice will foul bait a lot, but Kiki Rice doesn't do well with ball pressure. Like I said, I think Kiki Rice is going to guard Rory. I don't think that her defense is as good, so I think that that's something that they'll be able to capitalize on. I would guess you put Justice Carlton on Gabriela Hawkes. That seems like an assignment. And then Madison Booker, I feel like Madison Booker normally guards like the 2 or the 3. So that is like a Charlize, or you had Hawkes, or you had Gianna, so you could see her doing some of those matchups. And then I think that for UCLA, you need to put Lauren on Madison Booker. You need to. I think that with her length, she would really struggle with that. Lauren is a great shot blocker as well, and she would force Madison out of the paint and having to take stuff that she doesn't want to take. So I think that having Lauren on her is going to be huge. And I think that if both teams are smart, then Texas is going to get Lauren Betts in foul trouble and take her out of the game that way as well. And then the same thing for UCLA and taking Madison Booker out of the game. So I think just having to do that, and then you have to neutralize the other. You have to neutralize the other. These are the top 2 players on the team, so whatever you can to do to make them have to take contested shots, to make them turn it over, to make them think, to make them pass, like all those things, like you got to do that, and to deny them to even get the ball is going to be huge. And just don't give them space to get to where they want to get to, and just denying that. So I think that is going to be huge. Hawkes and Neepkins on Jordan Lee, I could see that, you know, switching. Like I said, Kiki on Rory. I forgot to mention Charlize Ledger-Walker in midst of all these defensive assignments, so apologies for that. But I could definitely see her and Rory being a matchup, and also with like Jordan Lee, for example, so like switches within those things. And so it'll be interesting to see who's the primary ball handler in this game, because watching the games, I feel like Charlize does a fair amount of it, and then you switch off with Kiki. So yeah, I feel like Rory's mainly going to be hounding whoever the primary ball handler is, and they'll have some switches, all of them well, even with Kiki. So I wanted to add that in. And I just thought of this, but you could definitely put Dugalich and Madison Booker whenever she comes in the game. I think I forgot about her because she comes off the bench, and when I think of UCLA, I think of the guards and Lauren, but she can definitely make something shake on defense for sure. So in general, I forgot to say, but Dugalich's numbers in the tournament so far have been better than I thought. I think she's only had one truly bad game, so I think that she might be one of the people outside of Lauren to step up, but you can't have 2 people win a basketball game, so just there has to be more of an equal contribution from the guards and everything, which I'll talk about later, but I just wanted to give Dugalich her respect because I forgot to talk about that. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to see if Texas is as successful as they were the first time whenever they played Lauren at limiting her. So I think that that is really interesting as well. And the thing is, like, even if you limit Lauren, she's probably still going to get to 15 or 20, but like there's a difference between 15 or 20 or like the 35 piece that she had in one of the games. So I think that there's something there. And so I think that Texas has to keep the defensive pressure up the whole game, pretty much like they did the first time. You force them into a lot of turnovers. You force them to take contested shots, especially contesting the threes, because a lot of the threes, they get wide open. You speed them up, okay? You make them play with urgency. They'll turn over the ball, I promise. And so they haven't been shooting well from 3 the entire tournament. So we'll see how they do with that and everything. And so I think that Vic is going to try to go big and use the height against the smaller guards, and that should probably work like he did last time. And I think that UCLA is just going to have more off everybody not named Lauren Betts, because we saw what happened the first time. Only when I can trust the same things that I've been saying, not trusting the guards. And I feel like the first time they played, they took Lauren out of the game, and then the guards didn't shoot it well. And they didn't have any free throws in the first half, which is kind of odd, so we'll see the free throw discrepancy. And then the second half, they started getting free throws. Kiki Rice was foul baiting a lot. And then the guards started to play better in the second half, and they cut it down to 4, but, they just couldn't close down on that. So hopefully Texas doesn't have kind of a choke job like that again, and then maybe it's different this time. So they just got to get off to a good start. You got to maintain a lead. You can't let them back in the game. You can't turn over the ball, taking bad shots. Like, you just have to be really methodical about the possessions and how you play the game. So I think that that's going to be really important.
Also, something specifically that people have pointed out for Texas, and that I've noticed as well, but Texas goes on scoring droughts all the time in the games. Like, I think it was the Michigan game or the Kentucky game, they had like 12 points in the second quarter or something, and it happens all the time. So whenever they do go on scoring droughts, they really got to lock in with their defense so they can limit UCLA and keep them honest, because UCLA might be able to capitalize off of that as well. So that's something to really keep at the forefront. And like I said, basically, if you take Madison Booker out of the game, you take away their offense. So if you're able to do that by getting her in foul trouble, or just by making her shoot stuff that she doesn't want to shoot, getting her to the 3-point line, making her take contested shots, that's something there. Also, she does foul bait. I forgot to add that in, but I think that those are going to be huge key things for UCLA to have and actually make tangible adjustments, which she doesn't, but I wanted to add that in.
And then I think with Texas, you just have to hope that Madison Booker keeps having good performances, because I feel like in the tournament so far, she's been really good. Like, every single game, she's been doing her thing. But the whole thing with Madison Booker is, and I do like her as a player, I've said that before, but she is a choke artist. She is. Like, multiple games, like, whenever we look at the first time that they played UCLA, for example, she was really good in the first half. And then the second half, she was 0-6 from the field, and she just went cold. And Rory had 26 points. So if Madison Booker goes cold with the scoring in it, or they play really good defense on her, or they get her in foul trouble, okay, then is everybody else going to step up and kind of fill that lull? Because Texas is riding heavy on Madison Booker. And so it's just, if those things happen and you need everyone else to step up, it's like, can they do it? I don't know. So I think that's one of UCLA's best bets to winning a game, and so I think that that's going to be a lot in their game plan. So how can we execute that? So I think that is something there. Hopefully Jordan Lee, is able to do something for you. Justice Carlton as well. But I definitely think that those things are going to come into play. And so, like I said, in my opinion, UCLA does not have good defense. They're going to have to play a lot better defense than they've been playing, in my opinion. And Lauren carries that. And so there's that. At the end of this day, who is going to execute the scout best? That's what it comes down to. I've seen Texas in the tournament. Like I said, the level of competition is making people think that they're better than they are, for one. And then I think they've had moments where they haven't looked great, but that was early on, and then they kind of just took over. And then I've seen other games in the regular season where they play well in the beginning, they almost took it away. Like the Ole Miss game, for example, the UCLA game, all that stuff. And times where they're in dogfights with teams they have no business being in dogfights with, like that South Dakota State game, for example. So I have seen those things, and I wanted to say that. And so we'll see kind of how they look with this competition. And I think UCLA, I have more concern with how they performed in the tournament, because Lauren, the only one who done something, like I said a billion times in this video, and I know that they get repetitive, but yeah. And then there's just multiple times in this game it's closer than it should have been. When you look at Minnesota in the beginning, when you look at Duke, they couldn't finish the job. You look at some of the regular season games they were able to pull through. I just think that they've had a lot more close moments than Texas has had. And so I think that there is some room for concern with UCLA for sure. And then I think it's about who can go out, play a full 40 minutes of basketball. I think Texas has better conditioning than UCLA, but UCLA has better three-point shooting. So we'll see how that goes. And I think it would be a lot easier to determine who would win this game if Leah Crump was healthy, which I don't believe that she is, allegedly. So I think that would have been something that would have helped Texas, but I don't think she's healthy. And so it could go either way. I just want to see, has UCLA learned from the first time they played Texas? Are we going to make any real adjustments before the game? Are we going to make better adjustments in game? Corey Close is a fraud and a Lauren Betts merchant, so probably no. So we'll see how that is, but have they learned? Have they learned? Is Texas going to be able to execute the game plan like they did the first time? Can you get more out of everyone who's not named Madison Booker? I think those things are going to be key, so I'm really intrigued. And so, like I said before, don't trust Corey Close as a coach. She don't make good adjustments. I don't think that both of them have much of a bench, to be honest. I think UCLA, you have Dugalich. Sienna Betts is still very raw, so I don't see her playing a whole lot in this game. If she does play, it's because Lauren's on the bench. And then with Texas, you have Oldacre, who's been good, but they don't really have much of a bench, so I think both teams are going to kind of get tired. So I could definitely see that coming into the fold. And I think it's going to be a grinded out game. I'm thinking like 60-57 type game. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I think that both of them can definitely have moments where they go cold shooting the ball, and part of that can be due to defense and part of them not shooting well, but I could definitely see a lot of scoring lows for both teams in like a 60-57 type game. So we'll see if it's higher scoring, but like, are both teams going to be able to keep up? So yeah, I don't know who's gonna win. I picked UCLA in my bracket, but either of them, it's just a matter of time before they get exposed. Okay, and I like Texas, but that's how I see it. That's how I see it. So yeah, to sum it up, UConn, I think they'll win by 10 against South Carolina, and then for the Texas game, it could go either way. I picked UCLA in my bracket, but I could see Texas winning the game. And so a quick preview for the championship. If we do play UCLA, I already listed out all their flaws to you guys, and I just don't think that the guard play, there's no way that they can keep up with AZ. There's no way that they can guard AZ like we've seen it before. And so I'm just not trusting their guard play with the basketball and their defense. So they just are not going to be able to keep up with AZ. I don't see it. And I just think with their post, probably putting Lauren Betts on Sarah is going to be your best bet. So I could see that for sure. But also I think that we would do a really good job limiting Lauren Betts, if we do play them, with like Sarah Williams, Sarah Strong, and also with Jana as well. So I think that we would have an answer for Lauren Betts and being able to contain her, don't trust the guards and all this stuff. So if we see them again, I think that it'll be, something that we can handle. And like, we'll see what the score is at the end. All they did was add, Gianna Neepkins, and then they added Charlize, who have not been great in the tournament. Like I said 1,000 times, I repeat myself a lot, I know. So I think that will be fine. I don't trust Corey. So that's kind of how I would see that game, and we'll see what the score is at the end. If we play Texas, already listed out all the flaws, but they have one elite player, Madison Booker. We have two with Sarah and AZ, and I think that we play better defense. I think we'll be able to capitalize, get them into a lot of scoring droughts, being able, just a lot of methodical stuff. And so I think that we would just be able to play them really well, okay? I think I could see Sarah guarding Madison Booker, being able to limit her. Like I said, same thing with Sarah Williams and Jana and all that stuff, and then you have to get everybody else to beat you. AZ, I would assume she would be on Jordan Lee and vice versa. I don't know. I think that they're not going to be able to stop us. We're going to find a way to make it happen. It might not be pretty, but we'll find a way to make it happen. And so that's kind of just the overall scout in the game. So that's kind of the gist, and just with the defensive assignments, so just a lot of point guard stuff on point guard. So you would see KK on Kiki Rice, or you would see KK on Rory Harmon, vice versa. And then you would see AZ on Kiki Rice at times, and then you'd also see her on Gianna Neepkins, on a Gabriela Jaquez. And then if it was to be a situation where we play Texas, kind of something similar. So I just feel like we have answers for everyone on both rosters, and that it's a better team overall. And it would be interesting. It would be interesting for sure. I think our perimeter defense needs some work, so those things can come into play for sure. But I think either of those games, I feel confident with us winning. We'll see what the score is at the end, but I have UConn winning the entire thing, winning the national championship. So I'm just really excited to see how everything shakes out, how everything looks, all the great plays. Also, something that I wanted to show y'all, I got my nails done. Okay, gotta get out of the frame so it kind of focuses. But yeah, it's this purple, it's glittery and stuff. But got the nails done, okay? And so this was after my last episode. I was I need to get them done because I wanted a new color and everything, and then for the March Madness tournament, so I wanted to show it. Because it looked good. I don't get them done really often, okay? Small change, but we loving it. We loving it. All the faith in the world in azzifudd and sarahstrong. They're not letting us lose. Some of y'all flip on a dime on AZ. Don't appreciate that. And I feel like y'all don't give her enough grace. She knows what the moment calls for. She's going to go out there and do her thing. So excited to see how everything shakes out and stuff, and to come back next week and talk to you guys about how the games win and all those other things. So excited to see all the media that they do for the Final Four. It's such a big deal being one of the 4 best teams in the country. So the media, the intros, all that stuff for the championship game, and the social media content that we get, and just the aura around it. And so I think that it'll be a lot of fun. I think that episode's probably going to come out on a Monday or Tuesday, getting everything ready. I'll have less games to cover, so it's probably going to be a shorter episode because I'm literally going to have 3 games to talk about. So it might be an hour or less, so we'll see. But just so much to talk about, so much to enjoy in covering these games. So I've been talking for 2 hours and change, so this is going to be hell to edit yet again. But just so much fun going to the March Madness tournament, enjoying it in real time, what I've seen on TV, what we will continue to see. And so that's going to be it for this week's episode. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you agree with my thoughts on these games? Do you disagree with me? What do we like? What do we not like? And we can kind of continue on there. If you did enjoy this, you guys can give it a like on YouTube. I appreciate that. And then if you have the bell, you get a notification every single time I post, so you not miss when a brand new episode of the podcast comes out. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, please be sure to give me a review and rate me. Let me know how I'm doing. And then also down below in the description, I'm going to have all my social media. I have my TikTok accounts. I'll put them both on the screen. My Anastasia 250_1 is the one that I go live on at times. I need to post some more videos on there. And that's the one they're not putting me on for you. And then the Anastasia Scouting Report account is the one I'm posting my reviews on. So thank you guys so much for 700 followers for that. I appreciate that. I also forgot to say this earlier, but whenever I went to the game, somebody noticed me and they were like, oh, I watch your videos and I follow you. And I appreciated that, older lady. I really appreciated it. That was super, super sweet. So I just appreciate you guys, the community that we built. So all my socials will be linked down below, and feel free to engage me anytime, whether that's a question about the games, scouting, WNBA, college, it doesn't matter. I always appreciate connecting with you guys. I do need to go live again again. So we'll see whenever that happens. But I'm pretty active on there. I have a Twitter account, so you guys can check that out. And all my socials will be linked down below and just everywhere where you can find me. My hair ate. So I forgot to say that. Love the shirt. Love the whole vibe and the moment that we have here together. But excited to see you guys after the championship game. So talking about that, and then maybe next episode I can kind of go into some WNBA scouting stuff, or maybe I can just keep it a shorter episode and have that be the next one. So yeah, I don't know when the podcast is going to turn to its regular day. Maybe I'll change the day permanently, but the most important thing is that I get it out to you guys every week. So thank you guys for being here so much. If you guys have been here before, if you guys are brand new, I appreciate it all the same. My throat dry. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see y'all next week.